Secrets. Trust. Worth. The bond between souls intertwined within otherworldly intrigue. Michaela Jade brings forth the Elite Warrior series, a collection of dark fantasy romance novels set in a twisted world where power lusts in the hearts of men and devotion seduces the souls of women. Warrior's Secret. Warrior's Trust. And Warrior's Worth. Available now at authormichaelajade.com.
The original intention of the film was just for my personal use, but I thought, with it being such a unique thing, that I'd like to offer it to anybody who wants to see it. On the first visit, Jack took us into his another room, separate room, and there were these brown parcels full of artwork piled up, and he said to me, "You draw like I do." We were in the studio for 5 hours, you know, it was fantastic, and there's this, he's got this desk, and everything he's ever drawn has come from this desk, and then I would just go with the flow, and that's what this film is about. It's just a unique film of him.
He says, "I beat you." He says, "They say we came in under the dead heat." He says, "That's not true because I beat you." And the American said, "Well," he says, "if you like to think so," he says, "but I know the real story." He says, I know I clearly won that one." See? Well, Joe is 6'3", and I was a runt, see, from the Lower East Side. And being Joe's partner was an advantage to me because Joe was believable, you know, they would talk to Joe, and the Goodman brothers would get to know him. Martin Goodman owned Marvel at that time. He went to his mother and he says, "Look, Jackie got a job drawing." He says, "They're paying him for it, they're paying him money for drawing." He says, "Suppose I go with Jackie," he says, "and he says, they'll pay me money." He says, "I'll draw and they'll pay me money." He said, "I'll give the money to you," which we did. We gave it all to our mothers. They called me from Nassau. You know, I lived in Long Island. And they say, "Would you like to come down and draw these guys in training?" I swear, this is not a story. And I said, "Yes, of course, I'd love to come down." And
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Koepp at CKOEPP.com today.
Nothing unusual about a 4 a.m. call to a back alley in downtown Kenton. A young woman lying pristine and unmarked on the cold, hard ground. I get to work quickly, but there's not much to go on here. No marks of any kind, no signs of struggle, just a dead Vic in the middle of an alley. And then there's that. Dead body in a dumpster that looks like a grizzly bear has crawled its way out of his stomach.
Pure speculation, just an educated guess, I'd say that man is alive.
In a world ravaged by monsters, a new evil has risen, poisoning the land and threatening humanity. Now, the Monster Matador, along with the meanest and baddest kaiju killers, have joined forces to kick its ass. Monster Matador, Afropocalypse.
There is another world. The world of darkness.
The world is rotten all around me. The stench and decay is present as these flesh eaters all surround me. Covered in blood just to blend in, that's my disguise. I'm trying to find my family, I'm suspecting that they might have died. It ain't so easy believing in peace. We killing zombies who deceased and now deep in the streets. I won't leave in defeat, but still it's hard to cope. I find hope in all these evil creatures so eager to eat. Yeah, asylum seekers need to move faster. Everything was fine until they first attacked the newscaster. Body in shock, nothing but doom after. I've even seen them shot and then they move after. Total disaster like I'm on the track for Ritz again. The Midwest was hit the hardest, millions dead in Michigan. This is the end times, homie, I will defend mine. Believe in one piece without leaving people behind. Mass panic, hit the stash into...
The Madness Comic Network and Comic-Related Madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt on YouTube.
Hey
yo, I am here. I am here. Yes, I am. That background. Let's mess with that. Let's put that one up there. Okay. Partially sponsored by Committed Comics, yo. Let's shout out to our people over there. Thomas Rock, dude. Let's see. What do we got going on? A little bit of this. Is that? What's up? She sent me an intro for her. Isn't that sweet? I like it. I like it.
You like
How
it?
you doing this morning?
I'm awake. I can't complain. I do that, but I don't want to stick my boobs in the camera. So.
I am not in the best of moods, so I'm going to avoid a whole bunch of subjects today.
You're not in the best of moods?
I want a cool intro video.
You gotta make one, dude. You gotta make
I got one.
I charge $25 an hour.
You just gotta email it to me, and you know, then I play it when you pop in. You see what I'm saying?
Shit, I don't have your email. I'll get it to you. I got you on a billion different platforms. I'll get it to you.
Popsfansnet at outlook.com.
All right.
That's the one I use for everything. Everything.
Everything.
I gotta send Rich the link. We gotta get one for Rich too. He needs an intro.
Well, I just used the chat link. So, the one right in the YouTube video.
So how goes it, Max?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Things are going along well. Don't have a problem with anything. Nobody's fussy with my campaign, and everything's running well. Usually I get, angry emails about or messages on Twitter about how I'm exploiting women, but
What?
Yeah, I make bad girl comic books, so I exploit women somehow.
That just makes you badass. So
we have a lot of female artists that exploit women way more than I do.
Well, we have a lot of female artists who need to get back in the kitchen and make dinner. That's what the hell we need.
Rich. That's not how we
Pops, can you make me a mod real quick? I need to kick somebody.
Look at that.
I don't know. I don't really mean that. Just half the time.
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't, because it
just
just
remember, I'm not putting strychnine into whatever food I make you.
Just when I'm hungry.
Look, they gave us a nickname. They gave us a name.
Hungry.
Look, we're the Brew Crew now. Look at that.
The Brew Crew, huh? Wow, that's enchanting. I'm thrilled. Yay.
Hey.
Brew Crew.
And whenever they drop a moniker on you, as opposed to you making it up on your own.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, that's not always true, because they can give you some really bad nicknames. You don't want.
Yeah. Yeah, like
everybody in the chat, come up with your worst nickname for our show right now. Let's see what.
You know what we are? We're the Russell Allens. That's who we are.
Yeah, you might be a Russell Allen. I ain't no Russell. If I ever get married, it'll be somebody more respectful than me. Oh, never mind. Okay.
God, I could use a brew right now, even though it's 4:00 in the afternoon here.
It's afternoon. You're fine.
It's brew time. You're off work. It's fucking throw one back, or in my case, turn the camera off.
Well, Pops, let's see. How long, if your tea time is at 8, how long does it take you to get to the back 9 bar?
About 2 hours.
All right, so 10 o'clock is good about the time to start drinking.
Look, we do a shot when we start. We do a shot at the turn. And those guys drink beer and stuff. I don't drink beer. You know,
I don't drink at all.
I do shots because look, I can do a shot of Fireball and I get a little glow right away. I feel it right away, and I'm good for like an hour. I don't need, you sit there and drink beer. You know how much beer you can drink in an hour?
Yeah.
Oh, I used to drink a lot of beer. I used to promote a lot of concerts and stuff like that. I used to put shows together, put them all out at the clubs and everything. I'll have to call you. Oh, give me a minute. I got a call.
And I don't have to go to the bathroom every 20 minutes.
I'm the reverse. A couple of beers, I'm fucking zonked, but I can take 7 lemon vodka shots without anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I'd much rather do shots. There's no sick involved. There's no drinking and stumbling to the bathroom 30 times last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, beer just don't do it for me.
Yeah, I'm a couple of pints of Guinness, I'm good, and that's it. But I'll fucking shot after shot of Fireball whiskey and forget it. I can clean a bar. I don't know why, and that stuff's harder than your average beer. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm fucked up.
Nah. Yeah, but anyway, I'm not holding that against you.
What? Oh my God, Allison, you wound me to the quick.
Yep, I do.
I am wounded now. My heart is in danger.
I still love you.
Oh, I love me too. I love you also, Allison. You're a lovely human being.
I don't
hello, Brianna. Brianna. I mispronounced the name purposely.
No, I don't remember the story I was going to tell. It was a good one.
Bud Light. That's worse than beer, man.
There you go.
That's piss.
Not beer.
That's piss. That's cold piss.
That's piss in a can.
It's piss in a can.
I used to put shows together, and
Jesus Christ!
Then I started working at bars, and then I started counting money, and I didn't want to be drunk when I was counting money, so I quit drinking. And
so after that, you were whacking motherfuckers who didn't pay you the money. So you were like, I don't want to be drunk when I kill people. Let me stop.
You just didn't want to be drunk, so you didn't kill the wrong people.
But when you can hang out in a bar and not drink, you can pretty much not drink anywhere.
Hi, Brianna. How are you?
There was a long period of time where I also didn't drink, and I would go to the bars with my friends, and I would designate a drive, but I'd walk around with the glass of orange juice because it looked like I had a screwdriver or a drink of some kind in my hand.
Yeah.
And it was social, right? But it was always just plain orange juice. Nobody knew that. It's like, I always would make sure everybody got home safe because they were bound and determined to go be drunk at the bar.
Whenever I was designated driver, I just go pick people back up because if I'm not drunk, I can't stand being around drunk people.
Oh,
they just annoy the shit out of me.
No, it's all about the direction. Okay, you can orchestrate that whole bar. If they're all drunk and you're not, you can orchestrate what goes on in the whole bar. You can get people to line dance. You can get people to do all kinds of stupid shit and giggle your ass off. You just gotta. It's where you stand at the party. What's up, Lee?
That's true.
What's up, Lee Reese?
Hey, Lee. What's up?
Lee Reese.
What's up, Lee?
Kaiju Mania.
Yes.
Kaiju Mania. I am always a sober one, and it always cracks me up. Drunk people can be quite hilarious. Yeah, they can be. They can also be truly revealing, too, which is the funniest shit in the world. It's like, I've always loved you. No, you have not.
You've always loved me for the last 35 seconds.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. You get the drunk girl at the bar. She's like, I've had a crush on you for a long time. And I'm like, for what? A minute? Have another beer, sweetie. And when they are annoying, they're easy to outsmart. Well, yeah, duh. God. They're about as smart as a Staten Island Guido.
I used to do magic tricks all the time for people at the bar because I would be hired as a magician. and
Magic too.
and I realized very quickly that you had to learn to do tricks that you didn't have to talk, and it's very difficult because a lot of magic is just the presentation.
Well, you have your patter you got to do and stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's your presentation, and this one magician had this really cool Joker trick in a plastic bag, and you could do it without talking. And it was a fantastic trick to where you had a Joker in a bag. It was a Ziploc bag. You flip it up. You have them choose a card, and it ends up being their card inside the bag, and it can even be signed. It's a fantastic trick.
Yeah, it sounds like a modification of the ambitious card.
Yeah, basically. And it works really well. And there's a method to it, but there's also like the super everybody's drunk method, and you could just open the Ziploc bag and stick the card inside of it right in front of their face. Because they're drunk. And it makes you the best magician in the world because they're not paying attention to shit.
Nice. Nice.
What was it? After work one day, we used to go to the what was it? Like the local watering hole. And I was never really a big drinker, but I have one drink or so. Usually something to eat. And they brought out bread. So I went and cut it and then dumped a bunch of quarters out of it in front of people. And people were like, what the hell just happened? I'm like, wow, this bread has money baked into it. This is great. Then I did another thing where, I'd finished my drink.
Oh my God.
All right, I'm going to take this quarter that just fell out of it and I'm going to push it through the table. So I put it down and I cover it with a glass and I put, a napkin over it.
Yep.
And I'd be like, putting the cup down, pulling it back, putting the cup down, pulling it back, putting the cup down. I slammed my hand all the way to the table. I'd pull the napkin off and be like, damn it. And I'd pull out the cup from under the table.
The glass went through the table.
And I can never get the right one. Now one time I went up to the bar and I had put down my license there for them to check it. I ordered a drink and then I flipped my hand and the license shot back up to my hand. Everybody knew they saw something. I'm not entirely sure what
they saw. Yeah.
And when leaving, somebody is like, oh, you're doing all these stupid tricks. We'll do something really good. And this is a plant for my friend. I went, oh, fine. I turned and I waved my hand and all the TVs turned off.
Yeah, I know the cup trick. I know because the napkin's very important. I'll say that.
Oh, that's yep.
Did you use a pull with the license?
Invisible thread.
Okay, I was going to say because it could be like an invisible thread pull. That'd be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the whole make the card fly around you trick, but I did it with the driver's license instead. So.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good one. See, magicians have too much time on their hands, and it's the classic tricks that get the most the biggest response from people, and it really just comes down to you could do the same stupid "I want to find your card" trick. Like there's a card trick that I do. It's one of my closers, and I riffle through the deck. They tell me when to stop. I open the deck up. They take the card out. I flip the deck closed. I hand them the deck. They put the card back into the deck and set the deck down. I don't even touch it. And then I pull it from their mind.
Yep.
Stupid easy trick.
Oh,
the dumbest trick in the world. It's a fucking force.
Yeah. So there's two easy ways to do that. One, you do a basic force. The second way of doing it is all the cards are the same card.
Yeah, that works too. It's just a riffle force.
Yeah.
Is all it is, So, and but the presentation where I hold my hand up and I'm like, I want you to visualize your card. I want you to see this. I can see the points of the diamonds in the card. I can see it in my mind. They're sharp, and you just bring it all home, and then be like, bam, Queen of Diamonds.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Well, the ambitious card is the basis of it is a force, but it uses like every sleight of hand trick that if you can do the ambitious card, you've mastered sleight of hand with cards anyway. And I used to do that with people at work sometimes that do the ambitious card. And I would set it so it's like, well, I don't keep that card in here. And I'd like open my desk drawer. Like, I keep it in here in this envelope, sealed.
Just for fun. All right.
Yeah.
I like to.
Well, got a bunch of David Copperfields here. That's awesome.
Yep. And never underestimate the power of the stooge.
Yeah. I definitely use stooges.
You do a mentalism trick. You got 2 or 3 stooges out in the audience, and you just it's boom, done. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, that guy can read minds."
What's up, Past Master Dan? Welcome to the show. How you doing? He just wants to smash people's cigarettes. That's all he's doing.
No. Well, let's see. I used a stooge once to put a card on the outside of a window.
Yep.
And I did a force thing to make somebody draw the card, distract their hands, and I threw the deck at the window. And when the decks hit away, I'm like, oh, that's your card on the other side of the window there. And I'd like rub on, like, what the hell?
Yeah, I can't remember the magician that he's got that. He does that he has a DVD on how to do that trick. And I was like, really? It came down to a stooge? I spent $25 on a DVD for you to tell me to use somebody else? I could have done that. I thought it was like something really tricky. I wanted to learn some sleight of hand here.
As long as you can do the basic force. Yeah, that's the only real sleight of hand in the trick. Morning post.
And if you fuck up your force, just do something else.
That's true.
And then force it again. You'll get that force eventually.
Yeah, you do the force, or you could just do you turn it into a false lift or something like that.
Yeah. It's like I was in Seattle, right? And walking down the street, we were by the original Starbucks. The very original first Starbucks when my wife wanted to go. And there was there was this kid doing card magic outside selling his DVD. Right? And I was like, okay, let me check this kid out. So I go over there and I start watching him for a little bit, and he's pretty good, And I was about to buy his DVD, and I was like, man, you're really good at doing a double lift and a triple lift. You're really good at it. And he was like, man, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that shit. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I complimented you on what you were doing, and I was about to buy your fucking DVD. I didn't say it. The sale hadn't started yet, but you just totally lost the sale here, my friend, because you couldn't fucking take the fact that I knew what you were doing.
Oh my God.
It's like I was at the Harry Potter thing when they were showing off all of the costumes and stuff. And they were trying to do a thing with the sorting hat to make it look like it was actually talking and things, but it was just somebody with a remote in like their offhand. I'm like, if you put the remote kind of behind, I told them a better way to hide it and it would look more realistic. And they're like, well, we don't have anything. And I'm like, yeah, you do. You just pocket it in your left pocket. Like, you're a magician. You're not. I'm trying to help you here.
Man, I blew a dude's stage performance once. He was doing the sleight of hand and showing how he's, just like really good at and of course, here comes the dude. He goes up, he starts talking to somebody in the front row, and he's like, reaches out to shake their hand, and dude reaches up to shake his hand, and dude gets his watch. And I was like, oh, he got his watch! I didn't mean to say that out loud, but I was the only one in the place that seen it. You know, I mean, the only one in the place that's, you know, it was like, dude was good, but he wasn't that good. You know, it's like, yeah, you got us watching. Yeah.
You're not supposed to clue people in when they steal your watch.
Dude, it was funny. It was funny. It was like,
I
and
could
I
never
wasn't
do
sitting
that.
up front either. We were sitting in the back, you know. It's like me and my friend Mark and his wife, you know, we used to go to comedy clubs all the time. And yeah, it was like, you know, oops, didn't mean to say that out loud, guys. Sorry.
Oh my God in heaven. Oh boy. Oh,
I used to have. It was a variation on the Magic deck, where you take a deck of cards and put the rubber band around it, and you throw it out into the audience, and then they throw it to 10 different people, and they all choose a card out of the deck, and they all end up being numbered cards because that's all there's in the deck is numbered cards, and then you pull up your video on your phone that shows it's a fucking YouTube video that shows you made it just last night, and oh my God, all the numbers are the same. Because you just used 10 different stooges in the audience. And they all.
Oh my God. Help me.
And that's the closer, and it makes you look fucking amazing. And people just think you are like, oh my God, this guy's really got power. Like, no, it is a trick. And everyone's always like, do you really have psychic power? Because I've got this psychic ability, and I'm just like, yeah, dude, it's all a trick. It's all a trick. No
It
psychic
is all
power.
a trick. Magic is something I have never been good at. Never, ever, 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 ever. I can't even fucking juggle 2 balls. I am so blech. I don't know how the 2 of you do it.
After you shave yourself, just take a little bit of what's it called? The
what?
Rubber cement, and rub it along your neck. A little rubber cement, and rub it along the fold of your neck. And then you take a piece of string, and you stick it in your, and you do this, and you close your neck down, and you put the string in where that glue is, and you run it back and forth, and then you lift your neck up, and that glue is now glued together around that string, and it looks like you've got the string inside of your neck. You can saw it out and pop it. And if you get real good with it, you could put you could steal somebody's ring, and then you put it in there, and when you pop the string out, it'll the centrifugal force will pull the ring down the string, and it'll look like the ring pops out of your neck. So you can do all sorts of stuff where you steal their ring, or you could use a what do they call it? The Jolly, or not the Jolly Ranchers, the circular ones, the Lifesavers.
Lifesavers, yeah.
And you put one of the same color in your hand, and you eat one, and then you pop it open, and it looks like you just pulled it out of your throat.
Oh my God.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Oh man, I'll try that at some point. I will try that. Rubber cement on my neck, and then okay.
A little bit of string, and fold it. Just hold your neck down, and really, really like play it up. Be like, then you pull it up. You're like, oh yeah, now it's in there.
Oh my God.
People get all like, oh my God, this is gross.
Oh, it's amazing. It's disgusting. Oh my God. Oh man.
That's an old Andrew Main trick.
I'll try that.
That's an old Andrew Main trick. He does a lot of shock horror stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy.
The Amazing Jonathan does stuff like that too. So
yeah. I like his head, his removal of the head trick. The amazing.
Oh,
John.
that's
good. That's a good one.
Oh God, ew. Where's Pops?
I'm right here.
He was playing with the dog, so.
Oh, okay.
I'm right here. I
He
ain't going
turned
nowhere.
off the monitor. He turned off the camera so people don't see him toking his bowl.
See, he knows.
In other words,
we got this cool sponsor now, guys. We got
Yeah, we do.
Committed Comics.
Yeah, man.
Tell me more about what Committed Comics is, Pops.
Committed Comics is Tom Doherty, Bill Moss, Cat Moss, Nira X. You guys know what we're talking about. We actually we will probably take a little dip through the website here before the show's over. Show everybody what they got going on over there.
You need some copy, Pops. You need some copy. You need about a three sentence piece of copy. And when I say, what? Tell me more about Committed Comics. That's when you go into Committed Comics is.
No, see, he's gonna send. He's having a video made.
Oh, okay.
So that we can run a trailer like we do for everybody else. He's hopefully he got in touch with Morgan Quaid, same guy who did ours. Thank you very much. We sent him
Quaid.
Got to keep making sure that our people get taken care of, right?
I'm not Quaid. I'm not Quaid.
I'm Quaid.
I spent all last night making new updating all the graphics.
Yay. That's fucking awesome.
So that they represent. Brought to you in part by CommittedComics.com. And you'll see that on all of our show cards now and shit,
Nicely done.
It's nice. It's nice knowing that I ain't got to worry about that for a few months. You know what I mean? Come on, you guys know at the end of every month I'm worried about whether or not we're gonna have a show next month.
Yeah, you got a show. You got a show until October, I think.
Yeah,
now.
September, something like that. We're good for a few months. Yeah. And then this guy.
At the end of the month, there's always a post from Pops. I don't know. I think we're done.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got used to all the bells and whistles and videos and all that. I can't go backwards from that. Okay, I can't go back to the free studio. You can only have 6 people, which means only 5 guests. I do panels. I can't go backwards. So we keep trying to go forwards and make it better.
Yeah, exactly.
So then after we get this sponsor last night, then this guy puts us another month out.
Oh man.
Okay?
Yeah.
Send some more money and make sure we're another month out. So yeah, I think we're good till October, Rich. Thank you very much.
Well, what is it? It's June, right?
Yeah.
July, August, September, October. Yeah, end of October, November.
Yeah, we're good for a while. So,
Yeah.
Happy about that. But then, you can never get happy. You get complacent and then something else smacks you in the back of the fucking head. So,
yeah, well.
This morning I
That'll
woke up,
be
got
Pops,
smacked in
trust
the
me.
back of the fucking head again. I'm like, what the hell's going on around here?
One way or another, the rest of the year will be taken care of. It will.
Oh yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh yeah. The show, I'm good. Now I still got to make sure the phone bill gets paid the whole year, but StreamYard's good for, pretty much the rest of the year, like I said.
Good. I want to get to a point where there's a 50th CromCon or 100th. That would be fucking amazing.
We're halfway.
Yeah, we're more than halfway there. We're more than halfway there to a fucking 50th CromCon.
This is 26.
27?
26.
26.
You want to know how I paid for the color on Mary Machine Gun #1?
How did you pay for the color on Mary Machine Gun #1?
7 plasma, baby.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Hey, I know a lot of people
God.
that do that. I know a lot of people that do that to help fund their comic book.
Yep.
And
what do you mean? Donate blood?
You sell plasma. You don't donate.
Yeah.
It's not blood.
I'm just
I
no
mean, you
good
go
on
to
that table, Max. I pass
How
out.
the fuck you get plasma?
They suck the blood out of you, and then they spin it around in the centrifuge, and then it separates the plasma from the platelets, and then they put the platelets back into fucking saline, and then inject it back into your arm. Takes about an hour. You can make about $1,000 a month.
Dude, I pass out every time.
Really? Holy
That's
shit!
why I don't do it. I pass out every time don't fuck with my blood, man. I got the right amount. What's the pressure, Allie?
2,000 psi.
I know what I got going on in here. We're gonna leave it alone.
I was real good friends with my phlebotomist when I lived in Gainesville, Florida, and I passed out one day, and he was like, "Don't drink. Don't drink tonight because you passed out. It's not going to be good for you." And I was like, "All right." And the whole reason we were selling plasma was to go to the Florida theater because they had the goth night, and it was sink or swim, and it's $12 all you can drink mixed drinks. They're watered down to death, but you could still have 50 of them, because they were free. So, and then the same day I pass out, I get as soon as Rich gets off work. That was the guy's name. He's like, "Hey, you ready to go out to the fucking Florida theater and get fucking smashed?" And I'm like, "I thought you said don't drink." He goes, "That's what I said at work. Get your ass to the bar. You're gonna have a real good time because your blood's all fucked up. You're gonna get fucking trashed." And I'm like, "All right, let's do it."
You want to hear a hilarious story? One of the times I went to prison, I had a friend.
That's always a good way to start.
Before I'm still in the county jail, right? And one of my friends had smuggled me in a tab of acid.
Holy shit!
And because I knew I had an 8-hour drive, handcuffed on a bus coming up, and the only way I was going to be able to handle that well was to be tripping balls, right? So that morning, when it was, the day of transfer, I popped this fucking tab of acid. I giggled my ass off all the way down in Nogales by where the jail was, all the way down there. We're giggling our ass off. I'm having a good old time, right? And then, you do a physical as soon as you get to the fucking complex you're going to. So they take blood, the next day they come dragging me out my cell and they're like, "Dude, your white blood count was really low. We need to go do your blood again." I'm like, it's just because I was tripping balls. I was like, "I'm fine, dude. I'm fine."
I wouldn't be able to make it. I mean, I quit smoking cigarettes, but I think if I was tripping on acid, I'd have to smoke cigarettes because that's something.
It was a good idea because that 8-hour bus ride handcuffed to the bench,
that would
sucked without some fucking acid, so that I'm looking at people, I'm giggling, I'm laughing, that's the only way I could have got through that ride. And that ride, everybody says that is the worst part of going.
The only thing that would suck the worst is if you had if your trip went in a really weird direction and you realized you were locked in and couldn't get up. I need to stand up. Fuck.
I've spent enough time in prison cells to be able to, not have that kind of anxiety.
I'm just saying you're tripping. It can go any direction. It don't matter.
Giggling my ass off, laughing at everything. It was like that was why I did it, because I knew I'd be giggling my ass off. And if I'm in a good mood all the way down there, then I got through that trip. But everybody was pissed off because you're handcuffed to the fucking bench.
Well, yeah, of course.
For hours, there's nothing more uncomfortable than that,
Yeah. I can't imagine.
And they ain't cushion seats. This is one of them school buses with the plastic fucking seats, right?
Oh, Jesus.
It's hard. It's like you're handcuffed between your legs to a ring on the
Yeah.
So it's like you can't get up, you can't do nothing. You're just stuck there. So I needed something to distract me, and it worked.
Unbelievable. My train is going to be here in a couple of minutes. I will reconvene with you fine peoples in a few minutes.
Train?
Take
Train?
Yes.
I have to take a train to get back home. I will talk to you cats in a few.
Yeah.
All right.
I always think it's weird that everyone always talks about how great the train system in Europe is. And
they never
I'm
look
like,
happy about getting on it.
Well, no. I mean, and it is great because I've lived in Europe, and it's a great system. I lived in Germany for 3 years when I was in the army, and the Eurotrack stuff is fantastic. But you got to think about where it all came from. It's not so cool. I mean, all those train tracks were built by the Nazis, so.
We're transporting prisoners and such. Yeah,
exactly. So you're kind of like, it's a great thing now, but it really wasn't so great 60 years ago.
I guess you're okay if you're in England then, because theirs wasn't built by the Nazis.
That's true. But the cool thing is like 2 inches is what won the war for the Russians because their trains. Their tracks were 2 inches narrower than the German tracks. So the German trains didn't fit on the Russian tracks without modifications. So they couldn't just do their little blitzkrieg stuff that they used to do. They actually had to like move through the mud, and then the Russians just burned everything as they moved.
Yeah, well the mud killed the Germans in Russia, so
Yep.
Killed them good.
Hitler could never. I guess he didn't learn from history. Don't invade Russia in the fall.
It was the spring, but
I know.
Because they attacked basically in the fall through the winter, and because the ground was frozen, they could move their tanks and stuff. As soon as the mud came, they were screwed.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting interview. I'm going to be on, and I quote. I'm going to leave some quotes. Yo.
Quotes? What are you going to quote? What are you going to quote?
I do not know yet. It'll probably be something
important.
Horrible.
Quoth the Raven, nevermore.
I don't know. Something about pulling knives out of my back. I don't know. Who knows? Something. Something about the great people in our group.
What would Jesus smoke? Jesus smokes fucking
Hebrew Kush.
Whatever he's growing. He does it himself.
Whatever he wants.
My buddy Jesus, he grows. He's got a grow operation, and we always ask him what would Jesus smoke.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the shows, CromCon, and probably tell people a little bit more about CromCon. I really want that to keep growing, man.
Just have a friendly conversation. Yeah, that's better than having an angry conversation. We're gonna have an angry conversation about CromCon.
Well, I mean, I've been on those streams that turned into angry conversations. I don't do those no more.
I don't have to worry about angry conversations because I don't get angry. People get angry with me. But I don't get angry back. It takes a lot to get me angry.
I just do my best not to damage what other people are doing, even if it's somebody I don't like, whatever. I'm not going to go out there and talk shit about them or ruin what they got going on.
There's no reason for that. I mean, there's people that I don't get along with. I'd like to say I'm one of the few people that people tend to like. They get along with. Everybody has to. I'm kind of that in between guy. There's groups of people that don't like each other, and I'm that dude that everybody seems to just be okay with, because if you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. And if you're not cool with me, I just avoid you. And I don't talk about you.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't go out and publicly bash people. They, do what you do. If we have a problem, I just won't promote you.
Yeah.
Left behind. I leave people behind if that's what the situation warrants. But I'm never going to go out there and try to take food off somebody's table. And when people do that to me and mine, I get highly fucking upset. That cancel culture bullshit, that ain't for comics, man. That's for fucking actors that make millions of dollars and don't give a shit. That's for rappers that make millions of dollars and don't give a shit. That ain't for comics, yo. You guys don't make enough money to fuck your fans off or to let other people fuck your fans off. You don't make enough money for that. Quit letting it happen. Quit doing it.
Is there real bad cancel culture in comic books? I mean, do they still do that?
That's putting it mildly.
I mean, it just seems kind of silly to cancel somebody over a comic book.
Well, you said that you're receiving hate mail because of
but no one's like done anything like tried to swat me or anything.
Yet. I mean, you don't know, Max. There's gonna be somebody at some point that just don't like what you do.
You can't make everybody happy, and there's too many crazy people out there.
This is what I'm talking. I'm talking about actually trying to sabotage what somebody's doing, taking food off people's table, and look, if you hang out with people like that, man, it's like you're not helping anybody.
No.
People that do that kind of shit are just out here to get attention. They don't even care about comics. It don't seem like to me. If you're willing to sabotage what somebody else is doing, you don't give a shit about comics. You care about your comic.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of seem to follow the Brian Pulido method of just staying out of everyone's bullshit and making cool comic books. He doesn't get involved in the muck. He doesn't start talking about people's problems. He just sells his book and he makes awesome shit. And that's what I want to do.
I like Brian. Brian told me something a long time ago about he said, bitch in private, praise in public. And that's great, except I can't praise people that are sabotaging other people's campaigns.
Yeah.
I can't praise people like that. I can't, I just don't talk
another little saying comes into play at that point in time. And if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Morning.
Yeah, only for 17 more minutes, bro.
Well, I guess I got here just in time then. I just kind of popped in to say hi and see how y'all doing. And I was liking and sharing the stream. I was hearing what you guys were talking about there. That's actually one of the nice things about what I do is that I usually try to stay out of the drama too. And I just, rather than demote the negative, I usually try to prefer promoting the positive, in like what I do with the news coverage and like what I do with the historical comic retrospect I do on Fridays. Now, granted, it doesn't mean that you don't give legitimate criticism where it's due. If you see people are behaving badly, if you see people behaving, executing bad behavior, you still need to call them out on it, and let them know, hey, no, that's not cool, But
yeah, but see, calling them out.
I don't have to call people out in by name. I call the activity out. I call the actions out. Look, if you're out there shitting on other people's campaigns, or just you're streaming about people in a negative way, knowing you're hurting their campaign, that's not cool. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, but when you're calling somebody out, so many people love to do it just publicly, just so they can get that good guy badge shined up a little bit more.
That virtue
You
signal.
know,
Yeah.
just do it offline. Send them a message. Be like,
Right.
dude, I watched your stream. You were being a dick. Why do you got to be like that? Or
Well, what I'm more talking about, just to clarify, to give an example, okay, to give an example, what I'm talking about, which might be a little different from what you guys are talking about. Like, if you see that somebody is, let's say, sitting there, trying to cancel somebody, right? You call out them, hey, no, you shouldn't do that. Like, you know, or when you see the hypocrisy, right? You call out the hypocrisy. You know, um, kind of an example of this was back during the whole thing with the live action Cowboy Bebop movie, where the girl who was playing Faye Valentine, Daniela Pineda, she came out and had that rant about, oh, you all just don't like me because I don't have the ideal body that you all think they should have, and that wasn't the case. What it was that,
it was a terribly written show. It was edited. It was edited poorly, and it was acted fucking like they were all like planks of wood.
well, the thing was, one of the things that I did was
Didn't
I
watch it.
did call her out, and I even gave her a little nickname for a while there, but then I stopped after a while. But because it came out that there was this picture of her that came out. She was one of those who was virtual signaling about the sexual exploitation of women. That was one of her main complaints. And then we find that she posed in a picture where she's basically on all fours. If you look at the picture closely enough, she's scantily clad clothing. You see what looks like, if you see on one side of the picture, there's this, it looks like this hand there that looks like it's about to give her like a playful little spanking, as it were. And then you've got her facing the camera, gape jawed, like, and she's sitting there talking about the sexual exploitation of women, and she's partaking in it. It's like
Do you happen to have this photograph?
It's on YouTube. It was on YouTube. I know Yellow Flash was one of the ones who called it out too.
No, I just like to
Yeah, I don't
see
pay
it.
no attention to none of that shit, man. Like I said, movie stars, rappers, they got millions of dollars. They don't give a shit. Okay, it doesn't hurt them. You're not taking food off their table. It's comics where people make a few thousand here and there. Y'all need to quit fucking doing that shit. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, movie stars do it, rappers do it. They all got millions of dollars. They're not hurting each other. They're just swapping fans.
Yeah, I don't. As I said, I don't necessarily. I don't go out of my. Some people might think that sometimes my commentary might seem like I'm going after people, but I'm not going after people. I'm going after, the issue, whatever the issue.
I just say the actions themselves, man. So
right.
You tell. Look, there's a lot of people that talk, and you'll notice they talk, but their actions say something different. And I always pay attention to people's actions. All right, if you're out there actively going at other people and hurting what they're doing, and you get mad when somebody says something about what you're doing, you're the problem, not part of the problem. You're the problem. Y'all need to quit doing that shit.
Well, yeah, and as I said, I generally just try to stay out of it. I mean,
I didn't make nothing
Pops,
either,
there are certain individuals I've had my issues with, and I won't even talk about them. I won't promote them. Just like it's like there's somebody I know who I've had some issues with connected to another person I had issues with. Who I know is now writing.
They passed you around like a fatty, didn't they? It's your turn to go mess with Mike. It's your turn to go mess with Mike.
Here we go. Check it out.
Well, you know who I'm talking about, though, right, Pops?
$5 bill.
Yeah.
I make comics. I got a $5 bill.
But now one of those guys is
think I
actually
have more
writing for
than that,
Bounding in the
and that's
Commons.
weird.
I won't even cover their articles just
Yeah,
because.
I mean, I just leave people behind like that, and they know. They know. I quit talking about you. It's probably because you were being a dick, you know, and not necessarily to me even. You
Well,
know,
I just hope that I haven't come off as being a dick towards you because that was never been my intent. So,
Pale Rider, if I got fried shrimp on my table, and you're at the house, you can have some, bro. You can have some.
I got
You have to fight me for that.
let me just change the
Your
topic.
fried shrimp.
Let me change the topic to something a little that would probably be a little bit more positive that you might want to know. I on my historical comic retrospect, I'm now getting into 1939, which means I will probably soon
Superman.
be getting into covering some of like Nador's work, better book Nador stuff because we're actually into 1939 now. I believe that's when Nador started off publishing. So.
Back when Pops was in his 30s.
Yeah, I am older than dirt. You guys know that, right? There is dirt that has not been on Earth as long as I have.
Yeah. Yeah, this past Friday I did read actually it's kind of funny because in February, okay. On sale date February 1939, cover date March of 1939. Apparently DC decided to do two separate stories where the characters discovered the treasure of Genghis Khan and then stood among themselves and became very rich. The Zatara story in Action Comics number 10 and the Golden Dragon story in Adventure Comics. So that was pretty interesting to see. I read the Zatara story as well as the Crimson Avenger story but yeah, going back and seeing some of that you know, if you tie, that's another way. I know you guys do it through independent, by creating your own comics. That's one way of doing it. Another good way is to go back and remind yourselves why you got into comics in the first place by looking to the past. Those stories are pretty interesting.
I don't remember reading a whole lot of Golden Age stuff when I was growing up. I do like one of the things I liked about a lot of the Golden Age comics and stuff like that is that they all wrapped up in one book.
Mm-hmm.
It was all one, it was like here's the problem, it's solved by the end of the thing. Spider-Man stops the bank robbers, and it's over.
Yeah. I think Spider-Man was considered more Silver Age, but
I know.
yeah.
I'm just, you know what I'm saying. It's just
Yeah.
I'm making an analogy here.
Right.
Superman stops the bank robbers. I could have said that. And that was always cool. But nowadays you've got like, oh well, we've got to have 6 issues for the trade, and we've got to have a whole story arc and all this stuff. And I kind of miss the single issue.
Kind of
problem solved.
the more episodic storytelling that they used to do. Yeah, because kind of funny. I myself did not necessarily grow up reading comics like you guys did. Okay, I was a big cartoon watcher though. One of my all-time favorites, of course, was Super Friends. I've talked about this several times. What got me into starting to kind of go back and read some of those older comics was of course my love for cartoon. It's like, okay, we know that the Super Friends was one continuity, and I know they even in the 70s 80s did actually make comic book adaptations of the Super Friends storyline. DC did. Okay, and it made me think, now granted, DC initially, I was basically doing for myself with DC and the whatever companies became part of DC. I I was doing with that what I'm currently doing with like the historical comic retrospect with all comics.
Brianna, you are an artist. You are madness. in a legit way.
I don't understand what this legit way thing is.
Yeah, you
I
are
don't either.
madness in a legit way. You don't have to be a hell. I'm not a comic creator, okay? And 10 years from now, when they ask me, "Yo, pops, what got you into creating comics?" I'm gonna be saying I got dragged in, kicking and fucking screaming. It's like it wasn't my
I
plan.
saw
Damn,
I
you
saw the
know.
screen pop up. I don't know who said it, but they said they started by reading their dad's
Yeah,
old
that was it.
Warren books, and
Yeah.
that's how I started too. Is my dad had he had Vampirella comics, and he had old Isaac Asimov sci-fi books in a box in the basement.
I
And
got
when I
Isaac,
was about
I got Heinlein, Isaac, Arthur C. Clarke. I got all kinds of those books, dude. I
yep, and I read all those sci-fi books, and then I started reading all the Vampirella stuff, and I thought it was pretty good. And then that's what really got me started on comic books. A lot
Yeah.
of people will be like, I started with the Casper or Little Lulu or whatever, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
no, I started with the Vampirella boy, and
Yeah.
it wasn't the first Vampirella. It's not Vampirella. Vampirella is just the hostess of like of a three of an anthology.
Yep.
So first three
And the
issues are
script keeper.
anthologies. Yep.
Well, and one of the things, particularly when I did the more generalized historical, retrospect, right? When I started that, it's been fun to also discover a number of the different characters. I mean, I never knew. There are a lot of characters I didn't realize had comic adaptations. You know, like one of the ones that's been a favorite. I know RJ. One of the ones that's a favorite that RJ likes is Sheena of the Jungle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys knew this. I'm sure you probably did, but she was in the comic. She was one of the features in Jumbo Comics from Fiction House. Now, Fiction House started in '38. Was a company that Will Eisner and Jack Kirby were a major part of. Now, Jack Kirby, of course, they both were writing under pseudonyms at the time. For the Sheena story, Will Eisner was writing under the name W. Morgan Thomas, and Jack Kirby was writing under a couple of them, Lou Fine and Jack Curtis. One of the other features I read out of that particular book was Weird Stories of the Supernatural: The Secret Diary of Dr. Hayward, and that one is kind of an interesting one too. Kind of a more of a serial type storytelling, but it's a pretty good story. Um, so I mean, you go back and you look at some of that stuff, and it can be fascinating too. Like I said, I didn't even know until more recently, you know, um, through Dell and Gold Key, that a lot of the cartoons that we grew up on ended up, having comic adaptations. I know Charlton did a number of Hanna-Barbera stuff. I know even prior to that, Dell did like I think Flintstones, and then Harvey Comics with Casper and Woody T.
I got a whole box of that shit over there.
Yeah,
Ain't
yeah.
worth nothing. I mean, you go look it up and it says it's worth something, but nobody will buy it, so it's not worth nothing. You see what I'm saying? Something's only worth what somebody else actually paid for it recently.
Well, it's kind of funny because, like, aside from the big two, like Archie is still,
Yeah, I
producing
got a bunch
comics.
of those too. Betty and Veronica, a whole bunch of them.
Vampirella and Red Sonja and Betty and Veronica. Something you didn't think that should not work works.
Punisher and the Archies. And the Archies and Punisher. Two different books. Two different books.
Yeah, the Punisher thought Archie was a drug dealer.
But
He's gonna put him down.
as I said, like this past Friday, we just started. We started the February 1939 coverage. I'm really excited about getting it, doing the deep dive of 39 because of just how much was going on. You had a number of books, you had a number of companies starting up, as we were talking about Nador as better books starting out then. Fox Feature Syndicate will be starting up in March, on sale date of March of 39. That's actually where Blue Beetle made his first appearance, believe it or not. And initially, Blue Beetle was more in line with like Green Hornet, Crimson Avenger, and Sandman. He was more the business suit wearing, fedora wearing, gas gun using pulp hero as opposed to being like a costumed, crime fighter. So getting into these different characters and trying to you know through reading the comics and for everybody, trying to help people be able to visualize those universes and feel what it would be like to be in those universes. That's exciting to me. That's what I like to do for myself with DC. I figure not everybody's going to be a DC. And some people grew up on Marvel, some people grew up on Archie, some people grew up on other, and I'm sure there are people who would love to figure out what universe they'd like to go to and be there, right?
Right.
Now with the independent comics, of course, they just create their own universe, and that's cool too. Because who really wants to live in the world we live in and deal with the BS that we deal with, right? Who wants to deal with a lot of the when I finally I've had a YouTube account since 2013, and I finally started uploading videos back in 2019 when the whole Vic stuff was going down, because I felt like I could contribute, and it was Tug and Yellow Flash and Nick Rickey and those guys who actually inspired me to start. I came in more from like the anime cartoon background, but then as I got to know you guys, I got to know RJ and stuff like that. My focus is I'd say it's pretty even when it comes to comics and anime are a lot of the news articles I do when I do my newscast. But I'll also hit pro wrestling too in there.
Now, this cracks me up, this statement right here, because I'm gonna say moms and grandmas ruined more comic collections than any and all other things combined.
That is why Atrocity Press, we say Atrocity Press, the comics your mother warned you about, because my mom would throw that shit away. Any of my fucking
This is what I'm saying. Moms and grandmas are responsible for more destroyed comics than any and all other things.
Remember, it was in response to a lot of those mothers and grandmothers that we had the CCA come about, because it was a study that Frederick Worthen did on how comics lead to juvenile delinquency. That's how we ended up with CCA, is that they thought that a lot of stuff that was going on in those Golden Age comics was leading to kids becoming juvenile delinquents.
And thank you to Warren for making a magazine that he didn't have to deal with CCA.
I didn't try to jump off any buildings thinking I could fly, but man, Freak Brothers helped me.
Well, according to Worthen, that wasn't, even though I know that gets talked about a lot too, but Worthen was citing, now some of it was true, mind you. He was claiming Superman was a fascist. He was claiming Batman and Robin in the 40s were involved in a gay relationship, and then he also indicated that this next one I'm going to say was actually indicated to be a little bit more real or more true.
Wonder Woman.
Moulton Marston's, who created Wonder Woman, was into the bondage fetishism, and he put that in he did put that in the early stories of Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah,
the way to remove Wonder Woman's powers was to bind her wrists together. So yes,
tie me up, baby. Just go ahead and tie me up. It's all good. I mean, if you look like Wonder Woman, who's gonna say no, right? Who?
And she has her lasso of thing that she ties you up and it makes you tell the truth.
It makes you tell the truth.
Lasso of truth.
Lasso of truth. Then you had all the other like bondage and submission poses and things like that.
What's up, Lee?
Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
No,
Hey.
I don't hear you at all.
So, I wanted to actually share this story because it needs more than just a one sentence thing. So when I was a kid, my grandparents kept me a lot, and in my dad's old room, there was a stack of two things in his back closet: Playboys and horror magazines. And so, obviously,
Your
as
dad sounds like a cool guy.
he is. So obviously, I gravitated to both, but I started reading the horror comics, and I specifically remember reading that the crime suspense story, the iconic with the axe on the head and everything, as a kid, and I was just like thrown. Like, I'm sure it is why I like to write horror comics now. And years later, when I learned about Seduction of the Innocent and all that kind of stuff and all those things, I found out how much that book was worth, and I went back to my dad. I was like, Dad, where's that book? It's still in your bedroom, right? You still have it? And he goes, oh no, your grandma saw that you were reading all that trash, and she threw all the Playboys and the comic books out. And I was like, no, it was the worst. I said, do you have any idea how much that book's worth? He goes, no, like, I don't know, a lot. And I was like, a whole lot.
Yeah.
So that's my story. It was terrible.
It's worth a ton because it was in Seduction of the Innocent.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It's like mothers and grandmothers destroyed more comic collections and destroyed more comics than any and all other things combined.
Yeah,
my mom left the Spider-Man and stuff alone, but when it was like Sexy Woman, like if I had Witchblade or Vampirella or Tales from the Crypt or any of that shit, it was gone. If I left it out, my mom would be like, I cleaned your room. And I'd be like, you just snooped and threw shit away. That's what you were doing.
Well, the reason they'd leave like Spider-Man and Superman all that alone because they probably figure, well, if you were watching the cartoons, the comics were just an extension of but the thing is that what they don't understand, particularly when you go back and you look at some of the older issues, like from the Golden Age, they weren't completely. It wasn't like they were like rated G comic, basically.
No.
I like
how Tony Stark is a completely different character in the Marvel universe than he is in the MCU, because he's a total fucking dirtbag.
Yeah.
Lost his company
in the original comic universe, or in the MCU.
In the comic universe, he's a dirtbag. He's like an alcoholic who lost his company, and he just treats people like shit. He doesn't care about anything. But in the MCU, they made him into this.
He's such a doting, attentive husband.
Well, one of my exposures to Tony Stark earlier on was from the Grant Ray Lawrence cartoon production, the one where he had the song
where he does the party in the
Tony
movie.
Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec with the hottest wheels as Iron Man.
I do like how he gets drunk at the party and gets in a fight with Rhodey. That's kind of funny. That's good. It's like, it's my house. I'll destroy it if I want to. Fuck out. Everybody, get out! Yeah, I like it. But they had already written out how they were going to screw up Infinity War anyway, and Tony was going to be the hero in the end. So they had to turn Tony into a hero.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to know where Adam Warlock is, and don't tell me he's coming in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. No, he should already been here. Pretty sure he had a huge thing to do with the Infinity Stones in the first fucking place.
Well, they took out Thanos's his motivation.
Well, they changed his motivation because he
completely
originally wanted to impress a girl.
He wanted to impress death. He wanted to impress death, and that was the whole point of it all. But then they changed his motivation in the MCU, and I was like, where are the Eternals? Where are the Titans? Where's death?
I haven't been a fan of the movie since and everybody. I mean, as soon as they started shitting on the source material, I'd rather read a book.
Yeah, speaking of that, let me ask you guys, because here's something of an article I covered recently. I want to get your all's take on it. Did you guys hear about Batman Fortress?
I saw that it was out. That's about it.
Yeah, it's a book that was written by Greg Witta. Did you guys see what they had Batman do in there?
Nope.
Basically, according to the article, so he's out patrolling Gotham, and he comes up on a bunch of people like looting and rioting. Basically, it's like a BLM Antifa style, riot. Okay, and he simply ignores them to quote unquote go hunt the bigger fish. He figures, well, it's not my job to protect their profit margins. You know, and these are like smaller businesses, and also in this one scene from the comic, there's also a apartment building right next to one of the businesses being looted that was set totally on fire. You know, um, when I was reading that, when I read that article and read what they were doing to Batman, you know, um, with that what Greg Witta was doing,
Well,
that was making me think that they were just dumping on his legacy.
It would really depend on how they did it. If it was Batman and he saw it and he was just like, well, screw it, I'm going to go help this other, I'm going to go get the bigger fish. But
That's
if he
pretty
was
much
like,
what it was.
but if he would have been like, Oracle, I'm here at this location, send fucking SWAT, they got this shit going on,
He
I've
didn't
got
do that.
bigger shit
He
to
did
do.
not do that. He just simply ignored it.
See, that's
The story I tried reading from was about a week ago. It was on Bounding into Comics. If you guys want to go, check that out. But yeah, and then RJ actually RJ even did an article on it on Critical Blast as well. Where you have insurance. No Batman for you if you have insurance.
Anytime, Lee. You come out anytime, bro.
I don't buy I haven't bought a DC or a Marvel comic since. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't buy one for many, many, many years, and then I bought Joker when they first came out with Joker. I bought the first 3 issues of that, and then I lost interest in it because it was the premise was cool that they were sending Jim Gordon to kill the Joker because Jim Gordon was a disgraced cop at the time, and he was just basically screwed and had no life. But I didn't get into the meat and potatoes of it because they were sending Jim Gordon. It took like three issues just to get it started, and I'm like, okay, I'm tired of this.
Yeah, if I understand correctly, I don't know if it was by the 90s or a little later where it got to the point where they were they were using multiple issues of multiple books to tell one story.
Dude, that was what killed it for me. And they went overboard when they went with the Batman story that you had to buy 30 different fucking titles to get the whole story. And some of those books had one panel that had anything to do with the fucking story. And then goddamn Marvel did the same thing with the Asgardian Wars.
Yeah.
I don't need to buy 30 titles that I don't care about to get one panel of a story.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a money grab to me. And when they started doing that, when DC started doing that, I quit buying their shit. When Marvel started doing that, I quit buying their shit. Just like that. That's a money grab. Okay. It's bad enough, like Max said, now they got to have 6 stories so they can make a trade, blah, blah, blah. It's all a marketing thing. It used to be you got one book, one story. Yeah. Then it was like, well, we got to get them to buy the next book. So we need a cliffhanger. So let's make a story into 2 parts, and they start doing that. And then 6 parts so we can make a trade. Okay, I understand that evolution. I don't understand the evolution of you've got to buy all of our titles in order to get this story. That was a cash grab.
At one time it did mean something to have certain characters, across multiple titles because they're all different stories.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
I know that's not what you're talking about. I was just making a side note.
A single story that jumps over to 30 different titles, and you go buy that book because it's part of the story, and you read the whole book, and there's one panel that has anything to do with the Asgardian Wars. In that whole book that they just made you buy. That's a money grab. That's bullshit. That's when I quit buying their books.
Yeah.
You know.
Would you say that was that was after, like, on DC side of it? Would you say that would be after, like, Crisis, or after?
No, it was the bat thing. The fucking. Oh, God, I don't know. I got a stack of books from the stupid story that, you know. It was like, yeah, the Batman.
In the 90s, they created everything became an event. And then it was all interlocked and interconnected between all the stories, and you had to read all the stories to get all the information, and it just kind of, it was a way for them to sell more books.
Yeah, it was a money grab because usually, you know, like I said, one panel, they were telling you needed this book because it had one panel in it that referred to the fucking storyline.
Okay, so if you're talking that this all happened in the 90s. That was obviously.
No, I'm talking about recently. Jeez, these books, man, these fucking.
Well, I know more. I definitely know more recently because
what was that called? I forget.
They did it in the 90s too.
This was going
Yeah,
over.
they did do it in the 90s. I mean, you would buy your Superman and Batman books, your weekly books, and all of them had a continuing story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
hey, one of the things I like, particularly about doing the older books in particular, is as you're reading them and just watching as the universe is being built. You know, that was one of the things about me. Because for me, it's more the idea of I want to paint enough of the picture for people to where, like, when you're reading the comics, you're actually going. It feels like you're going there and you're hanging out with those characters.
okay, so by the looks of Batman Fortress, it looks like it's just people rioting. It doesn't have any political motivations or anything to it.
Yeah.
Well,
this stack of books right here.
Well, the whole concept of it looks like there was this massive blackout in Gotham and Arkham spilled out. They're comparing it to the Purge.
Yeah, those look like newer books. So
this is the Dark Knights, the Dark Knights metal tie-ins. It says right on it, metal tie-in. Oh boy! So you had to buy all these fucking books. These books.
Granted, I would agree. You don't necessarily need like 30 books to.
That was bullshit.
To tell
That's a
one
cash
story.
grab right here. This is a cash grab.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
I see the point you're making there. Well,
and they got you. And they got you too.
Oh, they got my son. They didn't get me.
Alley Cat, you said that you were looking it up.
No, I just read the book.
Huh?
I just read the book.
Oh, the synopsis?
No, the book. I just went and read the book
to
look at it to see what was in it. And
you actually read the dialogue and everything?
No, I just got Batman Fortress #1, and I read it. It's a comic book. If I'm just reading it, it's going to take me 5 minutes to go through it. So.
Oh, you must be a speed reader then.
I read over 100 novels a year.
So, is it any good?
It doesn't really interest me in the sense because, as I said, the feeling I got from it, and they actually referenced it in the book, was Gotham City is having the purge. So all crime basically happened because this is a massive blackout that happens across Gotham City, and it unlocks all of the doors at Arkham, and everybody spills out.
Mm-hmm.
So when he sees people stealing a TV and shit, he doesn't bother because he's just like, it's a TV.
Yeah, but
he does stop the people who are trying to murder people.
The part that a lot of people have got upset about though is his reasoning behind it and how he said it. Yeah, about the whole idea. Yeah, because
I could care less about his reasoning behind it. So he sees that and he's just like, this isn't worth my time right now. I have bigger fish to fry. Honestly, he stops people from getting murdered. That is bigger fish to fry. If he waited, they probably would have gotten killed. We'll never know
Just
because
the way they
the power of the
presented
writer.
it, though, is granted, maybe you don't care about the potential political undertones there, but I think a lot of people do. That's what I was getting.
There isn't a potential political undertone. People go nuts and rob places. Should they be doing it? No. Should Batman try to stop all of it when he has other things to deal with? When the Joker takes a school bus full of children? That struck me as far more of his problem than some people rioting. Gotham PD can handle it. And
But-
Gotham PD is active.
Even as Max said, though, well, actually, no, because even with what Max said, he couldn't do that because because there was as he said, it was a blackout. But
Communications were down.
I think we're seeing two different points. We're not going to agree. So I'm just gonna.
I'm just saying. I just read the book and I just didn't get that feel from it. If I see something that's like, oh, these are such and such protesters and they're out for doing this and all that, I'm like, all right, well, that's political. Is this people just robbing places because everything's gone crazy? Yeah, people do that.
But I think
idiots do that.
The thing is that with how, and Grant, I know you said you don't care about the reasoning, but a lot of people do. And based on the reasoning based on what he said and how they
it made sense to me.
That's where I know you don't care about. You just stated it. You don't care about the political undertone.
There isn't any. He completely says it that he has bigger fish to fry, and the Joker's loose. That's a bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, but a lot of people, I don't believe if a crime was happening right in front of him like that, a lot of people would say he would still do something. I mean, yeah, maybe he couldn't spend a whole lot of time with it, but he could have dropped one of his gas pellets into the crowd.
That would have probably made it worse, though. I mean, he throws a gas pellet down there.
You can't second guess a hero that's not allowed to be a hero anymore.
Well, he is being a hero. He saves a busload of kids.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, just saying, the way they write heroes now, they're all the bad guy.
Well, the Dark Knight is known as the Dark Knight for a reason. If you go back into his history, he used to carry a gun and shoot people. And there's a very famous comic book. There's a very famous comic strip where he hung Two-Face.
He's also been knocked unconscious by every single person in his rogue gallery, and not one of them cut his dumbass throat while he was out.
So?
I mean, it's like, don't let him get knocked out by everybody and nobody kills him. Those aren't very badass criminals then. You know, I mean, somebody has to kill him if he's going to be knocked out all the freaking time.
Yeah, and actually in the Golden Age, there were a number of characters like that who it just seemed like they kept getting knocked out by blunt objects. The clock was another one.
You know,
well, in the Golden Age, Robin was known as the boy hostage. So
you see what I'm saying?
So, anyways, guys, as you can tell, I'm a little messy here, so I'm gonna go get my day started here. But it was good talking to you guys, and I'll talk to y'all later. And hopefully, you guys come by and catch my show later on tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. If you have the time.
Good talking with you. And yeah, we'll disagree to disagree. It's easier that way. So
yes. Anyways, I will talk to y'all later. All right.
Later, Mike.
I will say this. I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I mean...
Doesn't interest me.
Me neither. None of it does anymore.
The only Batman book I'm buying right now is Beyond the White Knight, because it's Sean Murphy. That's the only one I'm buying because I like the art.
Yeah.
Sean Murphy. I generally buy for art. So
White Knight was good. I haven't seen Beyond the White Knight, but White Knight was good.
There is only one book that I backed because of the art that I can point out just straight out. I backed it because of the art, and that was Six Gun Gorilla #8 because Preston Acevedo did the cover, Preston Acevedo did the interior, and what can I say? I like Preston's art. He fucking kills it, right? So, you know, But that's I hadn't read any of the Six Gun Gorilla books at all. I didn't have any idea what the series, what it was about or anything. But when I found out that Brian got pressed into do number 8, I was like, okay, and I back number 8. And then Brian, cool as he is, sent me the whole series so I can be completely caught up. Man, it was like, we love you, Brian. But yeah, I don't buy books on the art. I buy books on the story, and that's why I like to get the first one. That's why I always ask people, is there a catch-up tier? Is there a way I can get that first print? Because that's the one I want to read, and that's the one that's going to decide whether or not I like what you're doing and I want to read the next one. It's like it's hard for me to get into the middle of a series because I don't want to get in. By number 4, find out I ain't like this at all. Yeah. I'd rather bought number 1. At least have the number 1. Know whether or not I liked it.
I've my comic collection? There's obviously books I like to read, and I keep rereading them. But
right,
I was always focused more on the art. I just love the art, so I buy what I think looks badass, and I go through that. The problem with that, I bought a lot of books during the 90s because I thought the art was awesome. Stories mostly sucked, but hey.
Yeah, I read Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, the big omnibus number 1 the other day. I was reading through it and I was like, man, this shit is like poetry. You'd never you would never get away with writing like this.
We got to do this thing. Hold on a second, guys.
So just sit right down, relax, open your ears real wide and say, give it to me straight, doctor, I can take it.
Kick the chops out from under the wheels. Flaps up. No offense, Margaret. Contact. We're off. Rum, rum.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show. This is it.
Yeah, baby.
What's the cup say, Doc?
Being cremated is nice.
Ask me where I got that.
Graceland?
Where'd you got that?
Thanks, Max. It's my wife literally got it at the crematorium where her ex-husband was cremated. You talk about a place with a sense of humor. They're selling these mugs.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be drinking out of something that came from the place where they got rid of her last guy.
Listen, here's the spooky part.
Hey, that's a cute pink lighter, Doc.
Look, my desktop is black. It's easy to see. The other day, and mind you, he passed away months ago. The other day, I'm like, what the hell is this? In the bedroom. It's like, oh, that's Todd. What? You got the X in our bedroom?
He's learning something, bro, for his next life, right?
Hey, Sketch, what's up, buddy? Oh, Lord help.
But I support it. So.
It is what it is. It's a mug, listen.
So yesterday, RJ launched The Devil You Know Better.
Yep.
Mike Barron, Hart Fisher, a whole bunch of other people wrote stories in that book. Y'all, if you're a reader, y'all want to go check that one out. And I think for each stretch goal, they're adding a piece of art to the story or to the book. So,
The illustration. Yeah, they look good, too.
Go check it out, man. We got Mary Machine Gun live right now. You can go get that number 3.
Yeah, you could do that on Kickstarter right now. Mary Machine Gun is doing quite well. We've got last I checked, it had 113 backers, and we were a little over $5,000. So we have unlocked our stretch goal number 2, which is the trading card number 2.
Right on, Max. Good for you.
Yeah.
And you can sign up for that Doc Blaylock Pariah Blood Mud.
Yep, we're going to be relaunching the
sign up. Yeah,
the sign up shortly. I think August, and it's going to be tons of new images from the books. So you won't want to miss that. I am dragging today. Dragging.
Yeah.
Dragging ass.
Yeah. But all the chores are done, so I don't feel guilty about it. I'm just gonna drag, and then I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna draw till I fall.
I'm gonna draw until I fall.
Rock, rock till you drop.
Oh,
who sang that song? Rock, rock till you drop.
Def Leppard, dude.
Not sure.
Is that Def Leppard? Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Alrighty. Well, I got to take off.
Hey,
Matt,
So,
leave.
11:30. Yeah, it's 11:30.
I'm in Germany at 12:30. What are you talking about?
11:30 for me. Time for lunch.
Fair enough.
I'll
I
catch
guess
you guys later.
Tomorrow, Max.
Yep.
Good to see you, Max.
You
Nice
too.
to see you, Max. Have a great
You
one.
too.
Good
Yep.
luck on your books.
Yeah, we will be gaming tomorrow, pops. So
10
we're
a.m.
good.
my time, right?
Yep.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Take it easy, bro.
Sketch, good to see you, man. He says you're a sick man, dog. Sick man. Yes.
Do you see this banner rolling across the bottom of the screen, Doc?
I did, and I saw it on the card. Looks good.
We
Did a
are
good job with that.
we are at least 5 months good on our StreamYard out to the future. So
Fantastic. See, that's the way this is supposed to work.
that doesn't mean my phone's going to be on the whole time, but
I mean, I like to see people stepping up like that.
this is well. See now, this is the whole thing. It's like he was like, just put my thing on your, and I was like, oh no, you got to send me a video so I can run your trailer, And so he's getting a hold of Morgan to make a video for him. It's like there's more that goes with this. We're going to cover
Morgan Quaid.
Yeah, we're going to cover what they do at Committed Comics kind of heavily because they're helping us out.
Yeah, no shit.
But at the same time, it's like I told him, you got a spot in CromCon. You got whatever spot you want at CromCon. It's like there's perks that go along with helping us out.
Absolutely.
What is working on right now? Who is this? Who are we talking to on Facebook?
Dinner's ready. Ding.
No. It's Facebook user.
Yeah.
Yes. I know that guy. Oh, Tom.
Oh, it's Tom. What's up, Tom? I'm not working on anything but the channel. Doc is working on Pariah Blood and Mud.
Actually, I'm doing a 5-page backstory for Rex.
Oh yeah, for Double Flyer.
Yeah. And it is what is it? Tales from the Grave.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little horror-ish story that I'm working on, and I'm enjoying it. I've got all the layouts done. Doing a pinup for him first, and then the pages. So I'm taking a brief time out to do that. It'll probably only take maybe 9 days to get all that done. Then it's back to Pariah.
Yeah, I knew who you were over here, Tom. I just didn't know when you went over there.
I know he's bobbing and weaving.
Tom, the Book of Sarah, you guys. Tom sent me a metal cover of that book that he, only 10 metal covers. He sent me one of them.
Nice.
Great book too. Real good book. Allison is working on a couple different things. What's up, Jim?
Jim, good to see you, buddy.
Yeah,
that's a class act right there. I just got to say it,
Who, that O'Reilly dude?
That O'Reilly dude is a class act. He is a class act.
Man, we understand each other, me and Jim. And, that's saying a lot for two older guys that are pretty set in totally different ways, you know. But I totally respect what he does, what he's about, and you know, pretty sure he's feels the same way about me. So you know,
Jim said, "Where?" You, brother. I hope you're sitting by the pool watching this, because why would you not? If you got a pool on a day like this, even if it's morning,
he's
you
in
grab your
Phoenix,
coffee.
bro.
Yeah, you
Look,
grab your coffee and you get out there.
he's in Phoenix, and he's been spending some time by the pool.
Mhm. Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
I mean, he's in Gilbert, but you know, sort of Phoenix, right? You know it, Jim. You know it, brother.
Oh, this is for the project I've been working on, which I'm trying to figure out what I'm more happy with, what I'm doing now, or what I've already done. So I'm just doing a few quick things, try something new. Like I redid
I
this.
liked that composition.
Thank you.
Now you changed that style a little bit.
I did.
Yep.
Yeah, I went a little bit more serious with it. I'm trying to find out what I like to draw with it.
So, Allie, I got a critique for you on that one.
Mhm.
You got to go back to it.
She's like, no.
Working.
There you go. I see what you did, and everything's absolutely right. But it reads from a distance like her left pupil or left iris is gigantic and her right one is tiny.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I just haven't fixed it yet.
Yeah, okay. I figured you probably already saw it.
I literally did that earlier today on the stream. So
okay, right on, right on.
I just
I'm with
colored
you.
things to give myself a color guide. So,
But I like that angle. I like the pose.
Thank
you. You know, I liked the previous one, but this is an improvement. I see why you did it, and I like it.
So I'm changing things up a little bit and seeing what I like better than my initial fairly cartoony version.
Fairly what?
Cartoony, stylized.
Gotcha.
So the thinking, don't want to hurt myself too much. The other thing is I wanted to go back to doing the book that I lost literally several years ago. At this point, I had a 120-page graphic novel, and I lost it.
Oh no!
Corrupted, and I have the first what would be 20 pages.
Yeah, we'll hang out for you, Jim. And what happened?
She's wearing a sweatshirt that is like 6 sizes too big. So
right on. But what happened? You say you were finish the story.
I had a file corruption that basically it nailed my main copy and my backup. I still don't know how it did it. So now I back up to 5 different locations.
Same thing for me. I'm also a writer. I wrote a novel. I was almost finished. It was 360 pages. And then it went bye-bye when my computer got hit by lightning. And it also got my external hard drive at the same time. So poof, gone. It's like, maybe one day I'll rewrite it. But after that, it's like, it's like the car when it's in a wreck. You know, we can restore this. No, fuck it, just trash it.
So, the first book, the Books of Shadows. The Books of Shadows. So the idea is that each story is a different part of it, and this one's about urban legends.
Nice.
And I had another idea that was ghost stories, and things of that nature. So I took the idea I was working on with my much more stylized, and I'm taking that story and I'm redrawing the first couple of pages to see how I feel about it. If I want to do it more like this or other ones.
Like that versus a more traditional? Is that what you're saying?
Much more. I'll bring it up.
Death Dwells, good stuff as well. I forgot to mention that one, Tom. I'm sorry. I got the Book of Sarah on the wall right here next to me, right there on the wall. It's kind of behind everything, but it's right there. You know. So whenever I see your name, I instantly gravitate toward the Book of Sarah. But yeah, Death Dwells, good stuff as well. Good stuff.
Okay, so I did this yesterday.
That rocks.
I wasn't
Good work,
really happy
Allie.
with it, so
she
trying to
struck oil
figure out-
right there. She caused a gusher. Look at that.
Well,
Got a pimple there, buddy. Let me help you with that.
I have this set up on this. So
nice.
I have her flipping over the guy here, and then she comes from behind and hits, and that happens.
Relieves him of the need to worry ever again.
Well, it's the Kill Bill style. Well, I took it from the same place he did, samurai movies.
Yeah.
Particularly Lone Wolf and Cub, the movies.
I used to love those old 1970s kung fu movies. Came on at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, those I love those.
Oh hell yeah.
So I did this, and it says it's much more stylized, and than
I
the
like
other.
both of them. So which way are you leaning?
That's what I'm trying to figure out is what I'm enjoying more.
I like both of them. I really do.
There's parts I like from both. Like honestly, I'm probably just going to reuse this panel no matter what. So
yeah. But like if I was the writer and you were penciling this for me, and you asked me which one I like more, I would be stumped because they're both well done. I like both.
So that's my whole thing is I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. So
yeah.
I can do this a bit faster, but I'm not sure if I'm happy with it. I was happy with this.
I understand. Hey, Glenn. Good morning, my friend.
Fella.
Well, it's actually good afternoon for you. It's almost evening over there.
Well, it's about 1 o'clock here, so I don't know where they are.
And we're not all fellas either, Glenn.
No, I'm definitely not a fella.
He's in England. So
that's right. Glenn is
that's
in
+5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is evening over there. It's past tea time, damn it.
Yep. But yeah, I'd probably reuse most of this page without issue. I'll just import it in and go. I might change her up a bit though. Might not. As I said, I haven't figured it out yet what I want to do. So,
yeah.
Like this right here, this page right here, I literally imported the page and then redid this piece.
Right. Because why bother redoing it all?
Right. So that's what I'm trying to figure out what I like.
I think I would say I like this one better.
This one?
Yeah. I mean, but only by a smidge, only by an atom. I need more coffee. Be right back.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what I like to draw. So, I mean, I'll always have a stylized look. I mean, I'm influenced by a lot of manga and, well, several American comic artists that are very stylized. So.
Well, I'm still looking forward to seeing your crop story.
Oh yeah, I gotta get that too. I got a bunch of things I have to send out to people.
I really don't know what we're gonna do with that yet, but we'll figure something out.
Well, there's always the chance I redo it in this universe.
Well, for me, it's all about the team, you know. Just like last time, it's all about the team, you know. It's like we're gonna do the best we can. I just don't know what direction we're going. Nothing yet, you know. 6:45 where you're at, Paige. We got the Netherlands or something like that in the house too, right?
We represent, man, international community.
That's right. How you doing, Glenn?
Pop in, Glenn. Say hi for a minute.
Also, everybody who doesn't know, 2 o'clock, sign up for CromCon 26 begins. So if you're looking to get a spot, be ready. 1 hour and 15 minutes. CromCon sign up goes live.
I will say this though: no matter what I do, blood is stored in the body at 2,000 psi.
And it's supposed to stay in there.
Both of these things are true.
Yeah, and I specifically decided to give her a ninja toe as opposed to like a katana and all that because I'm like, I want to draw this, so I'll draw the fake sword as opposed to the real one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, doing those curves from time to time can be a pain in the ass. So
that's true. I hate, for whatever reason, I always struggle with putting the right angle on a sword or a knife or a spear. I have to take several shots at it before I get it exactly right.
I've been known to cheat. To teach myself proper blade perspective art, I built one in 3D and studied how it looked in every different angle.
Yeah, I just usually go get my T-square and hold it and look at it.
Yeah.
But it can be. I don't think people realize that the hardest thing to draw. People say, I can't draw a straight line. Well, look, I'm a master artist, and I can't either.
I can draw a straight line. It says practice.
A thousand crooked lines.
Yeah, I can just do this, and I got a straight line.
Yeah. Yeah, Lee Reese says Wolverine's claws suck. You're exactly. Hey, Lee, good to see you, buddy. You're right.
Yeah. And then you have the other thing where you just do this, and you keep doing this until you can just basically make a straight line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when I teach art. I teach that, first of all, straight lines don't occur in nature. Only man does that.
Yeah.
But then secondly, if you're going to do a straight line, there's 2 rules in a painting. If it looks straight to you, it's straight enough.
This one.
Yes.
And if you do 1,000 crooked lines, you'll get that straight line. Just keep hatching at it. You'll get it.
Yep. No, that's very, very true. It's I mean, I'll lay down a straight line on certain things, but when I go over them,
freehand.
Yeah.
Yep. Same. Like if I'm doing bricks, you can lay it out as a grid with a ruler, T-square, or in digital. But then when you render it, you do it freehand.
Yeah.
Or just drop your keyboard. Hey, Dan, what's up, man?
All right, sent you the link, Glenn. Sent Jim the link. Who knows? Maybe we'll get joined by a couple other crazy people. Yes, I did.
Wild and crazy guys.
I did say crazy people. Yeah, like that guy.
There he is. That's my bud right there.
How are you doing? How are you doing? How are y'all doing, fellas? The term of endearment. Over here. Don't worry about it.
Glenn, how are you?
I'm all right. I've just been eating some nuts, but I'm all right. Yeah, thank you. I'm okay. Yeah. How are you doing?
Doing good. So it's past tea time. Is it dinner time yet?
No, it's only 10 to 6. I won't be having dinner until about after 9 tonight because Helen's working. So, but usually we eat about 8 o'clock.
I'm usually in bed asleep by 9:30 or 10.
Oh, yeah. Wish I could get to sleep. Must be wonderful.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't have a problem sleeping. My problem's more waking up. So.
Oh, me and sleep just don't get to hang out much together.
I try to stay on a pattern.
I sleep more than 3 hours at a time ever, and then rarely do I get to go back to sleep. So,
It's weird that normally my whole working life I'm up at 4 or 4:30, usually in
What are you
bed
doing,
asleep
Rock?
by 10. Hey, Rocky.
What are you doing, Rock?
But when I'm doing a daggum comic book, it's like there's something genetic about it. You start keeping vampire hours.
Say it.
Yep, that is definitely true.
Talk over them. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
I love your dogs so much.
Say what you feel, bro.
Tell us how you feel, Rocky.
Say what you feel, dude. Don't so pitiful, dude. What's the matter?
Love your dogs.
I know, right?
Oh,
oh,
what's that all about, dude? Oh.
Yes, I got my pro tip for artists. When drawing a pose, draw the pose first, then draw the clothes over the pose.
A husky always has to get the last word.
Because they're wolves.
That's better. There's something to say, huh?
Did he step on a pea?
Yeah.
He stepped on a bee. Oh.
That was a
pathetic moment.
I'm still trying to get my head around all that. I watched quite a bit of it.
That was awesome.
Oh,
it was pathetic.
Oh my God.
I loved it.
Yeah, did he step on the bee? It's just the whole thing, and there are still people saying that the verdict was wrong.
Yep.
Huh?
Yeah.
So
I made the mistake of falling down someone who leans in that direction, right?
The verdict
their
was
Twitter
wrong?
thread.
On what? The
Amber is the victim.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care all about that stupid thing. It's just no.
I don't much care either, other than she tried to use Me Too and ruin that for legitimate victims.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said I haven't followed it all. I don't know a thing about it. From what I understand, that's the way they ruled, and I'm fine with that. So she can appeal it.
But the same person that I fell down their rabbit hole of reading their threads is still calling Kyle Rittenhouse a murderer. You know, it's like, come on, man. Did you see the part where the guy pointed the gun at him
Yeah,
before
I have
he got
to
shot?
say, I mean, I lean very left, and when I heard what they were charging him with, I'm like, well, he's going to get off. He didn't do that.
You're allowed to defend yourself. That's exactly right.
I mean, is he guilty of other things? Yes.
What things?
Well, he crossed state lines as a minor with a weapon. I
No, he
believe
didn't.
that's what he.
Nope.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. The weapon was already there.
Weapon was in the state.
Well, then never mind.
Even the public defender dropped that charge.
The media misled a lot.
The prosecution dropped that charge. Excuse me.
The media misled a lot of people about the evidence going into this trial that turned out to be not exactly.
And then they had several.
You know,
They had several whoopsie moments when the prosecution debunked them.
Was
All
it?
right, so I'm going off of whatever I heard, but if that's the case, then fine. That's
Objection! Objection! Alison, hearsay.
Yep. So that's fine. If that
But wasn't it Joseph Goebbels who said control the media, control people's minds?
Yeah, tell a lie long enough, loud enough, and often enough that people will believe it.
Yeah, and look what they did.
Yeah, we get a lot of that over here. I don't know how the BBC does over there, but over here, they decide what the agenda is and then they sell it instead of just
the BBC have lost a lot of credit over here well, they've lost a lot of credit. Let's put it that way.
The media tried to try that one, and I mean, they tried to try it in the media rather than the courtroom, just like they did with Amber and Johnny. Same thing.
Yeah.
They tried to do.
You can't try it in the court of social media because you got fans.
Yeah, they tried to do it in basically in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, you can't do that. Well, now it's the court of social media because all the public don't get to make all the public doesn't get to have a voice. Only those in social media have a voice now.
On certain sides in social media, get to have a voice.
So
I mean,
my whole
most people that
thing
don't
with
use
it
social
is,
media at all. They don't have a voice. That's what I'm saying. Social media is where the
as
voice
soon as I heard the case of what they were trying to do, and from the footage, I'm like, well, he's getting off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, you know, here's the footage of the guy trying to cave his head in with a wooden skateboard. Here's the image of the guy pointing a loaded gun at his head. But no, don't defend yourself because then that's murder. Yeah,
and
whatever.
if he wasn't supposed to be there, neither were they.
Not disagreeing with that.
Oh, it's okay for them to be out there, but not him. Armed and acting stupid.
No, no. I think all of them would have been brought up on charges
that's
too.
what I'm saying.
So I'm fine with that too.
That's what I'm saying. The things they were trying to say he wasn't allowed to do, well, neither were the bad guys. Right?
But you know, it was the summer of love, Pops. Come on.
Yeah.
The summer
I think
of
it was the
love.
summer of things burning, but that's
Yeah. The mostly peaceful protest. Did you see the memes?
Yeah. I don't even want to go there because I watched the neighborhood I grew up in kind of burn down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happened here too. But it was like, you know, on December 7th, the Japanese did a mostly peaceful air show over Pearl Harbor.
It's like the building the building where the drugstore was that I bought my comic books on the regular stuff when I was
really,
you know. I don't think it was. I mean, obviously, it wasn't still a Woolworths anymore.
Right.
You know, but I mean, that's the place where it happened. That's where I bought a lot of the comic books I bought when I was a kid.
Hey, Glenn, I know that BBC, you know, over there, they have a public tax for watching TV, so there's no commercials and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how many channels are there to choose from if there's no cable?
Well, there's probably thousands because you've got Sky and things like that. But the thing about the to me, the con about the license is that I have to have a TV license even if I don't watch BBC. Because I would rather, I just wouldn't, if I could watch the television and not watch the BBC and pay that money, I would not watch the BBC. But even if I don't watch the BBC, I have to have a license, and it's just outrageous. There's a lot of stuff going on at the moment. I won't get into it, but there's a lot of stuff going on with them at the moment anyway, and
yeah,
you know, it's not right. It's just a tax. It's just another. It's a tax on your you know, downtime. That's all it is.
Yeah. We have locally here where I live one of this. You talk about a stupid government regulation. I kid you not. A few years ago, all of a sudden, these blue trash cans showed up in our yards along with our green trash cans.
Yeah,
and
we've got that. Yeah,
it was for recycling. Okay, well, so I rolled my trash out, and they didn't pick it up because I didn't roll the blue can out.
Yes.
So I called the city and I said,
that TV tax and shit, that's why we fought for freedom from you guys a long
I
time
said,
ago.
I called them and I said,
we saw it coming.
There's a lot more to that story.
This is important. I called them and I said, they said, well, they're not going to pick it up if you don't put both cans out. I said, there was nothing in the blue can. You have to roll it out anyway.
Yeah.
I said, hold up. Let I get this straight. I'm a grown-ass man, and you want me to roll an empty can to the curb that doesn't need dumping, or you won't dump the one I'm paying you to dump? So I started a shitstorm here locally about that because of the stupidity of it.
Well,
and they stopped doing it.
Well, over here, if you know those tall bins that you're talking about, we have those as well, and we have different ones are different. It was this morning, it was Tuesday morning for us, and it'll be the different ones. We've got about 4 of them, the different ones every week. But you know, bottles and plastic and this kind of stuff. But they won't empty it if the lid isn't closed. So if you fill it up and the lid is 2 inches up because you've got so many cans in and bottles and things, they won't do it.
Oh my God.
And the other thing that really pisses me off about that situation is that I live in a little cul-de-sac, a little close, and everybody wheels them out and puts them on the pavement. Two things really irritate me and really get, one is that they never manage to put them back where they found them. They're always in front of your car or blocking somebody's drive. And worse, I've been living in this house for 27 years, and I've never seen a time when anybody has emptied their bin on the concrete road. But when those guys go, sometimes there's debris that they've spilled, and they don't clean it up. They just leave it there. They don't clean it up, and I just find that really, really gets me. That.
Yep.
Especially that they can't put them back where they put them, because we put them so they don't hinder anybody getting in and out. And you come out, and when they've been, they're all over the road. Somebody has to, we all go out and shift them,
Mm-hmm. So my passive aggressive, what I did publicly, fighting the city manager, and it was public, by the way, and people were just, let's just say I had the entire population of the county on my side. But my passive aggressive was because I told them I don't fill up a recycling can enough, blah, 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 blah. And they said, well, you need to buy more stuff that's recycled. I said, you don't get to tell me what to buy. What the hell? So anyway, I just started using it as a trash can because nobody searches. They just ride by with that automatic arm thing, right? Yeah. So I just put trash in.
I just think it goes to one big hole in the ground anyway, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
One of the. All right, Allie.
Yeah, I got some other things to do and
much
more art. But it was great seeing everybody. Good talking to everybody.
See you, Alison. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
And anyway, they don't really stick to that rule anymore. They never recanted publicly, but you can roll one can out now and they'll pick it up. Yeah, exactly. You got to put $1 in the slot to flush the toilet.
Well, we used to have a, it's called, if you go for a pee, you got to spend a penny. You might have heard that.
Yes.
And that comes from the public toilets. You used to have to
they used to say, I gotta go drop a penny.
That's right. You used to have to put a penny into the slot in the door and go in and use it, So.
Exactly, Dan. And yes, I literally saw a documentary about that, Glenn, in the UK. When it went up to a dime, people were like, are you crazy? I'll just pee in the street.
Well, people do that now, so, anyway.
Yeah, it backfired terribly.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
You don't like that idea either?
Let me show you this duck.
Show me. Oh, look at it. Wonderful. I meant to ask you last time, what kind of sponge are you using? And are you cutting your ink any?
No, what I do is, I'll show you. I get those sponges that you might clean the car with. I don't know, and cut them down.
Okay, all right, I got you.
And then I get such as this. Put some drops of ink in it, and then just dab it in. And what I tend to do is to get that effect. To get that, I'll have some tissue to dab it first because it's too black, too thick.
Right.
It won't make that texture.
Right.
And then I just go over it from that.
So you're pulling off to get the effect.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Because I'm literally, look, let me show you. I did this one just by using a paintbrush and a foliage technique.
Right.
And a foliage technique, like I would use if I was painting foliage.
Yeah.
But I was looking to do effect more like what you're talking about. So now you've shown me, and I will do that.
Well, all I do is it's you can see there. you can see there that I've.
No, I can't.
Right. Can you see it?
Nope.
That's because you're big. There's no one-
Yes, I've been embiggenated.
Right. See.
Come on, Pops. On the ball here.
See that little dot there? Can you see it?
Hold it still.
That's where it. What I do is I just get a piece of ordinary typing paper and just lay it across. Rather than put sellotape down, I just put the paper up and hold it down and just dab it. Sometimes that happens and it goes underneath, but it's no big deal. You just white it out later. But so all these straight lines is just because I laid a piece of paper down and went over it, you know.
Yeah, I've got the liquid masking fluid that I use.
Yeah, I've got some. I've got that as well. Yeah,
I like that stuff. It works really well.
It does. I've got a couple of films on YouTube of me painting some illustrations using that stuff, but I found that apart from the time it takes to put it down and ruins your paintbrush, when you take it off, my board is discolored. It's sort of a yellowy.
Mine's not. The product I'm using is damn near perfect. It doesn't cause any issues. Now, I do have a brush dedicated just to that, but I go and I clean it immediately with
So do I. But it's just knack. I can't use it for anything else.
Oh yeah, it's eventually going to just get boogered up. There's knackered. I love that British word, knackered. It's going to get manky.
Yeah,
it'll get manky.
Good stuff right there. Good stuff.
But what I'm doing at the moment, I'm putting this. You've seen this before, but I'm putting this together soon to get it out there. Number 2, issue 2. So, you know this has been finished since before Christmas. You know.
Right.
That is. But what I did was, as you probably all know, I went on to. I had to not redo my Kirby book, but I had to look at it again. So I spent some time on it. So I'm just trying to get together now and get this thing up on Indiegogo or wherever it's going to go.
You know, so Glenn, Allison wants to remix the sound on that and take all that buzz out of the background of that video.
No, that adds character to it.
Well, I mean, it dates it, but at the same time,
well,
you know,
if she can do that and she wants to do it for free, then I'll let her.
Yeah, I think she actually offered to do it for free just because it drives her crazy.
Well, she didn't offer it to me, but
no, she put it on the screen once. We were all talking about the Jack Kirby book.
Oh yeah. I said to her, yeah, well, message me and let me know how what and she hasn't done so.
Okay, well,
I don't chase people.
I hear you.
So if she wants to do it, fantastic. But
there you go, Allie. There's your permission, Allie.
But the thing is, you see, is that if she does that, I'd have to re-edit the film and then get new copies pressed, which costs me.
Well, no, you just when you get ready to do a reprint, then you have.
But I'd still have to do it.
Yeah,
which is what I'm saying. So anyway,
swish and flick.
But it has been, somebody has tried to take that buzzing off before, so she can do it. Fantastic. But I think it adds to it, and I think that if you watch it long enough, you don't hear it; it just goes away.
It doesn't bother me because I grew up in that era.
Yeah.
And that's how everything sounded back in the day. There was, there were no clean recordings. There was no remastering. There was none of that shit.
Do you remember the sound that your VCR would make when you pushed the tape in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We're about to watch a movie now, baby.
But it's like the vinyl records. I don't listen to vinyl records. I must say, I've still got all my collection. I listen to CDs now just because it's easier. And when CDs came out, they were really good because they were really sharp, weren't they, and precise. Right. But over time, they don't have any warmth, do they?
No.
CDs. It's just so you can hear, and even with the mistakes and little clicks, this really wham, and you don't really want to hear them, and they get lost in the vinyl, don't they? In that nice groove,
Mm-hmm.
Dan says, my son put a sandwich in a VCR. My son did too. And listen, I backed the wrong pony because I was a Betamax guy when they first came out. The quality was better, but they were too expensive. So,
did you used to have those 8 tracks in cars?
Yeah, I had an 8-track. Yeah.
My brother had one of those. I said, "Why have you bought one of those?" He said, "It's the future." I said, "No, this is the future. It's about that big. It's called a cassette."
Yeah. Yeah. If you heard a song you liked on 8-track while you're riding around, you just had to ride around some more to hear it again.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't forward, you couldn't reverse. It was what it was.
Yeah. It's all good stuff, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
See, we should be really grateful, you see, because we've lived through a time when we've seen all these things. We've seen all this blend of all these magnificent things. Because I was talking the other day, when I started work, which was doing graphics, which was in 1974, right? I was 19. And I used to do paste up for brochures, paste up, pasting down the copy, the text.
Mm-hmm.
And we used cow gum.
Yeah.
And then we went to spray mount.
Yep.
And then we went to computers.
Yep. PageMaker.
Yeah, PageMaker. I mean, what a dinosaur that would be now, PageMaker.
Right. But it worked.
But how brilliant it was. And that little thing where you could click it and it used to add the pages for you. So it just used to place all the pages in. It's absolutely brilliant.
I remember having to drive for 2 hours to have a commercial for my comic store turned into Betamax. Because the TV station started out on Betamax too. They sure did.
To play them. But yeah, we've been through all
and
that.
imagine though, Glenn, go back though a generation or two. My great grandmother went from horse and buggies to a man on the moon.
Yeah.
She went from candles and oil lamps to electric light.
Her great grandmother and 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 her great grandmother, so on, all the way back to forever, was just fine on horseback. What the fuck happened when your grandma showed up?
Are you blaming my grandmother for our social woes today?
What was that?
I think that's a bit much.
It's like we went thousands of years just fine getting around with horses and wagons.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we were on the moon.
Yeah.
About 40 years ago, there was a Russian general guy, some guy, one of Brezhnev's men, and there was this. I think they were in the UN in New York, and they were talking, and this American guy, I don't know who it was, some general, stood up and he was doing his speech, and he said, "The United States has enough nuclear weapons to destroy the world 6 times." And the Russian guy stood up and said, "The Soviet Union has enough nuclear weapons to blow the world at once. How many times do you want to blow it up?"
Yeah.
But I wrote in my book about the NASA astronauts. And think about this, about what we've just been saying about horses and all that. In 1903, the Wright brothers flew the Kitty, and that under its own power, and it flew 125 feet powered.
Yep.
That is a Saturn V rocket is twice as high as that.
Yes.
And 66 years later, from that controlled flight, we were on the moon.
Yeah.
In 60, just over half a century.
And think about this.
Years.
Victor Davis Hanson pointed this out in one of his lectures. World War II started, and there were still biplanes in use. By the end of it, there were jets.
I want you guys to take this a step further, because we went in 120 years. We went from Wright brothers to a man-made craft leaving our solar system.
Yeah.
But think about that, though. In the span of 6 years of the Second World War,
years, we were like, "Hey, let's ride a horse."
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. Well, somebody needed a sandwich in a hurry.
Well, what happened was that in 1940, this 47, this strange flying disc crashed, and everything
Roswell.
came from that.
Yeah.
That's what happened. But the Germans had that
I think it happened. I think it actually happened before that. That's just.
Yeah.
I think the contact and the direction of where we were going happened. Edison, Ben Franklin, all these guys just happened to be in a very small area. All these guys that created or invented all this cool stuff. Tesla was the only one that was somewhere else, right? I think all those guys.
Well, no, he was in America.
Push.
Tesla was from Croatia, but he was in America when he was doing all that. And don't forget, you shouldn't mention Edison and people like that, because I'm pretty sure, didn't they sort of see Tesla doing it and claimed it.
There was a guy at the Royal Academy of Science that he basically filled up the basement with lead acid and plates and made the world's biggest and first battery, and then showed off an arc light at the Royal Academy.
I don't think that's the first battery, because they found shit like that in the Egyptian.
Well, you know what I mean. In the modern age, from there to here, it's linear.
Yeah.
But basically, the thing was the size of the whole basement, just so he could do one arc light.
Yeah.
You know.
I think a big move forward in technology was obviously the transistor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because that condensed everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you, back in 1990, when I bought my first Apple Mac, one of the little classics, about the size of a toaster, black and white screen, that ran on 16 megabytes. And an Eagle had 1 megabyte on its computer when they landed on the moon. And it was the most advanced computer of its kind at that time. But that was only 30 years later. So 1969, Neil and Buzz are going down with 1 megabyte. And 29 years later, or 31 years, 31 years later, I've got 16 times as much memory on my computer in my house.
Right. And now our phones have more computing power than NASA had.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
That's the other thing a lot of people don't realize. A lady did all those calculations by hand to put a fucking rocket on the moon. Yo. A lady.
So, the moral to the story is we can be some pretty innovative blokes when we put our minds to it.
Yep.
I just wonder what happened, to just boost us so much in the last 2 centuries compared to the 30 centuries before that.
I think I know what it is. It's similar to this. This is what I believe. Man's greatest invention is supposed to have been the wheel, right? So if you create, the guy probably saw a log rolling down the hill, didn't he? And then cut a piece off and made a wheel. Right, what we know is a wheel. What you've got to remember is that you've got that guy thousands of years ago who sort of worked that out, and then you've got the space shuttle, which had the most advanced wheel in human history so far, but it was still only a wheel.
Exactly.
So it is, isn't it? It's obviously a lot better, but it's still only a wheel. The principle is the same. So if you've got a transistor, which is what we're just saying with Doc there, Pops, right? The thing, it's always all things coming together. But the transistorization of stuff has got to be one of the biggest leaps, because we can condense it all, like the battery. How big a battery is now? They're this size. It depends what you're doing with it, but that's how big they are. There's always a key to something, because, like I say, a wheel is a wheel is a wheel. But a piece of wood next to the space shuttle wheel is 6,000 years apart.
Right. Yeah, it's a funneling of intellect and ingenuity.
Yeah, there's
all these things condensed down into the best possible product.
Yeah, look at Ford when he made the car. They got 2 miles an hour. Built like a bit like an aircraft carrier, big iron thing. And look at cars now. 120 years later, they go at 600 miles an hour. So you need the key factor is it. Like the Wright brothers, they made a system where they could control their flight. And like I say, 66 years later, they're on the moon, because it was just like an enhancement of that technology that they worked out.
Yeah. And again, to go back to my statement earlier about World War II, they started World War II worrying about pasture land for their horses. Yeah. And they ended with tanks.
Yep.
They started with fabric-covered biplanes, and they ended with jets.
Yeah.
They started with ships that still had expansion engines, and ended up with the Iowa-class battleships and aircraft carriers. So necessity drives innovation.
Don't forget as well, you might not know this, but who was the guy, Whittle, who invented the Merlin engine for the Spitfire?
Yep.
He had the plans and the workings out of a jet engine in 1934.
Yes. Yes.
10 years before the Germans were flying theirs.
Yeah.
But the British government told him, no, we don't want to do that. Put it in the drawer.
Right.
So if that's 1934, if that would have been advanced as much as his Merlin engine was for the Spitfire, Britain would have had jet engines in 1936. And we could have knocked Hitler out after 3 minutes, you know.
Yeah. It's always there. Like right now, as we speak, somebody out there has the idea for the next thing.
Yeah.
But the cool part about living through all this is the wonder of we don't even know what the next thing is.
That's right. I see. Like I read about Einstein, and he says he says that when he published the theory of relativity in 1910, he determined that nothing could travel faster than light. But he, at the end of the article, he says, "But don't stop here, because last week we didn't know we could." That was the question. That was the
exactly.
So and now in I think it was in the 70s and 80s, those quarks that pass through us all the time, they're traveling faster than light.
Yeah, and at the event horizon of a black hole.
Yeah,
you have a matter antimatter exchange that is faster than light.
Yeah,
but that's why he said it's relative.
Exactly. Yeah, but he said, "Don't stop here."
Yes,
this isn't it.
Yes, so let's get busy on warp drive, fellas.
Well, I think they've had that for a while now.
As long as we keep looking, we'll never find the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
there was a time, by the way, and I read this article in an old magazine from the 1800s, that the human body could not survive speeds in excess of 45 miles an hour. The physiology just wasn't there.
Well, but don't forget that could be true, because if you think about it, when you go on a spacecraft to the moon, you travel at 25,000 miles an hour, but it's relative. If you were outside, if you were traveling at 25,000 miles, you'd be ripped apart.
Right.
But
we can handle 45 though, Glenn. Come on.
Yeah, but you're not traveling that fast. Your environment is.
Right.
It's like the Earth. The Earth moves through space at 1,000 miles an hour. So when you walk outside, you're sitting there now. You're moving at 1,000 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all relative.
I had a patient once, and keep in mind, I was a counselor. He was convinced that his dizzy spells were because his inertial dampener field would occasionally turn off. Well, he literally said this to me. He was a Star Trek fan. So my inertial dampeners go off and I get dizzy and I fall over because of how fast the Earth is going. And I was like, oh, wow.
You should have said, well, don't worry, the Earth's flat.
My idiot nephew went through about 5 minutes of that flat Earth thing, and I drove to his house and I said, I'm going to educate you or I'm going to beat your ass. One of those two things one of those two things is going to happen right now. Let's see. Paul Roper says, we all have the opportunity to advance or help someone advance. It's just human nature to fear you might be wrong, and it stops so many people from developing further and faster simply because yes, fear is always the enemy of exploration.
Fear is the mind killer.
Fear of somebody come knocking on your door.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration.
Yeah. Remember the guy that invented Starlight, the fireproof material back in the 70s, and he took the recipe to the grave with him? Well, they've been able to replicate it. Yeah, look up Starlight insulation. Right. He literally showed it. You could take a blowtorch to it and hold it on your hand, and it's less than a 1/4 inch thick. Nothing. Because it was ablative. It's burning off instead of burning through.
Yeah.
And they were able to replicate something similar, and that's what brought the space shuttle tiles, you know.
Yeah.
But that guy's fear kept him from going any further with it, and it kept him from trademarking it and putting it out there. Yeah. He could have been a bazillionaire.
Yeah.
But he just took it to the grave with him.
Mm. Did you hear about Alexei Kalashnikov? You know, the AK-47?
Mm-hmm.
he developed. That's why it's called an AK-47. You'll know you're a military man. In 1947, he brought that, and apparently, I'm sure it's different. This story is a bit apocryphal, but apparently he took that weapon. Does it have 6 moving parts or something? It's the most reliable weapon, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's not much can go wrong.
Right.
And it's very effective. So he took it to Stalin, being a good communist, took it to Stalin, showed the generals and all these people. They thought it was brilliant. And he must have thought, ka-ching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ruble signs, right?
Yeah.
And apparently Stalin turned to him and said, "Thank you, comrade. Thank you for giving this to the people of the Soviet Union." And I think there are something like 400 million of them been made since 1947.
Yes.
And they're all in America, it seems.
Yeah. Good old communism.
You know.
Chase your dreams just to have them snatched away from you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. The AK was something else. I've never fired a real one. I've handled the real ones, but I was subjected to the horrible, not the M16A2, but the M16A1, and it was a jam monster. It was horrible. I was like, we need something better than this. So the one time that I was involved with anything that had to do with people actually shooting back, I carried one, but I also brought my 1911 45 because I'm not dying because my weapon jams.
Mm. I asked my dad about that. I wrote that book about my dad when he was a paratrooper in the war, and he was a Bren gunner. You know the Bren guns with the curved magazine on top. He was a Bren gunner. And I said to him, we were talking about that NG-42 that fires about 60,000 rounds a second. You know, that German thing that
the barrel melting beast. Yes.
Yeah. And he said, I said to him, did those NG-42s ever jam? And he said they didn't get time to jam because, as you said, they had to change the barrel.
Yeah.
And I said, well, did your Bren gun ever jam? And he said, no, because I made it, I fixed it, I greased it and looked after it so it would not jam. And I said, well, what would you do if it did? He said, well, he'd clear it. He said, but don't forget, he said this to me, he said, don't forget that he could, blindfolded, strip that Bren gun down in 8 seconds.
Yep.
And then put it back in 8 seconds, which is partly why the book is called 8 seconds.
Yeah,
But the reason is the parachute to the ground took him 8 seconds as well by coincidence.
Yeah.
But 8 seconds to strip that Bren gun down blindfolded, so that if he was in pitch black and it jammed or something happened, he could just do it in pitch black.
Yeah.
I don't know how you train to do things like that, if you did at all, but that's an amazing thing for me.
Yeah. Your weapon handling, weapon care, all of that's a big deal. And then, for me as a corpsman, I not only had to carry all the stuff the infantry guys carried, I also had to carry another 20 pounds of medical gear. So you had to be in shape too.
Yeah.
And once upon a time I was.
I'll tell you something that was fascinating when I was doing my research for my dad's book. I mean, I've seen all the programs and I've read a lot of books about it, but when I really got into the research about the weapons and the way the units operate, the way the squads would operate, what they were doing, it was fascinating because, and I didn't know, you'll know this, but I didn't know this, but especially with the German units, the soldiers support the machine gun. I thought the machine gun supported the troops. And I said to my brother, all the photographs I'd found of the German troops, the Wehrmacht troops, they've all got big belts of bullets around them.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, look at it. He said, they support the machine gun. Yeah. And I always thought it would be the other way around.
Over here, our army has automatic weapons like the squad automatic, the SAW, and they are organic to the individual squads. The Marine Corps, which of course as a Navy corpsman, that's who I served with. It's not. You have your fire teams, and then you'll have a platoon or a squad that's dedicated heavy weapons, and you just call them in, and they come out with you. They may have changed. This was in the 80s, so it may have changed since then, but that's just the way it was. And so we had 5-man fire teams. You had your gunner, secondary gunner, fire team leader, grenadier, and what was the other guy? I forget. Oh hell, my brain's failing me. But anyway, that we just operated at the fire team level, 5 guys. But no, we didn't serve the machine gun because I didn't want. For one, that draws too much attention.
Yeah. Well, there was that. Sorry, that guy, that band in the Band of Brothers, that Garnier guy. You know that Bill Garnier. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
He said that when they landed and they took, because it was at Breakout Manor they took on the first day. He said when that was done, he said the first thing he wanted to do and what he did was get his hands on an MG42 because they were so good. So he got one, and obviously all the ammunition was there, and him and his buddy are carrying this MG42. And in the next firefight, US troops who didn't know who he was were firing at him because of the sound of the weapon. So they thought there's a German. So he got rid of it. He said he got rid of it fast and got his Thompson back. You know.
Yes, I always my mindset was I'm going to do my duty if we go into a full-blown conflict. And primarily, in our day it was you're a rifleman first, no matter what. But then my overarching thing was the medical. So I'm going to do my duty, but I'm going to draw as little attention to myself as possible. So during that mindset, we had a guy that came out and he was some pencil pushing, we called them blue coats because, Navy corpsmen who were in the Fleet Marine Force, we wear Marine Corps uniforms. And this guy came out in his dress blues, Navy dress blues. And he told us that we're going to wear our white armbands with a red cross on them out in the field. And I said, no, I'm not. That's a fucking target. I'm not wearing that damn thing. And he was adamant, but this guy was an idiot. I mean, he was probably the dumbest person in the military I met.
Well, the thing is, you see, with that, I mean, as you know, I'm not a military person, but if I saw that guy with a red cross, I'm killing 2 people. I'm killing him and the guy he's looking after.
Yeah. Well, you kill the corpsman. We're the number 3 target. You don't kill the guy he's working on because then somebody else has to come work on that guy and it slows down the unit. A fatality, you move on.
No, I'm talking about shooting the enemy.
That's what I'm saying.
If I'm firing at you and I knock you out, the guy is going to die because you're fixing him.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But, they would always, it was the officer first, radioman second, and then the corpsman.
Right. I've got you.
Yeah, that was our life expectancy. So my medical insignia came off my collars and I became a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps. You had to get this close to me to read the black lettering that said U.S. Navy.
Well, they do those things where they say things like, they didn't salute, did they?
Yeah, don't salute
because a sniper would work it out, wouldn't they? And all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Don't salute in the field. That is impractical also. But the poor radioman, I always felt sorry for them because there's no hiding what you are.
Yeah.
I could pretend to be just another rifleman, and that's exactly what I wanted to be. In if I was in combat.
Were you armed?
Oh yeah. But I damn sure did not want to draw attention to myself under any circumstances.
No. I mean, it must be fantastic being behind one of those MG42s for its firepower.
Yeah,
like you say, he's the guy that they're going to get, isn't he?
Yes, because it's horrific. That thing was horrific. But then again, if you just keep your head down, let him melt his barrel, then go get him, because he's going to melt that barrel.
Yeah.
You're muted. Thumb clip, pull pin, throw grenade. It's thumb clip, pull pin, throw grenade. And then you have the idiots in boot camp. They go thumb clip, pull pin, they throw it and it hits the wall and bounces back at them.
I read about this American guy who was in, I think it was somewhere like Iwo Jima or somewhere, one of those islands that, at the end of the war. And he was, because I can never work out why they throw grenades like that. Why don't you throw it like that at the thing? And this American guy was a hotshot ball, I don't know what you call it, football player. The guy who what's he called? The pitcher. The guy who passes the ball when they're all knocking each other.
Oh, the quarterback. Yeah.
Quarterback. And he was a quarterback, star quarterback, and he was throwing those, those satchels with
satchel charges.
He was throwing them right through the slit.
Yeah.
Every time. Other people threw them and they'd bounce off and not do anything, or the grenades would bounce off. He could get it right through that slit. And what's that slit about that big? About 6 inches. He got it right through every time, and he was just blowing these places to pieces. You know, must have been something to behold. I bet those guys were glad he was in there.
Yeah, I'm staying with this guy. I couldn't imagine. You know, D-Day took balls of steel, but Iwo Jima took balls of steel and a titanium spine. Because it was a slaughterhouse.
They were going to take it in 3 days, and I think it took 33.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh.
all the tunnels, everything, man. Dude, that's.
Well, they didn't know how many were there. There were 25,000 Japanese troops there. They only thought there was a couple of thousand at the most.
Yeah.
I took a hit yesterday from the left because I posted. We interrupt Pride Month to commemorate something worthy of being proud of, and posted the D-Day pictures because every website, everything was Pride Month, and nobody's remembering D-Day. Are you shitting me? Oh my God, they came after me. There's already holidays that commemorate veterans. We're not commemorating veterans. We're commemorating an event, which was the greatest assault in the history of the world to free a continent from tyranny. You know, I think it's worth remembering. I think it's more important than, you know, you dyed your hair blue and came out to your parents. You know, how do you compare those things?
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? I think that's what happens. Is because our parents were in the war. We know that, and the kids now have us as a buffer as to what that meant. So they get soft, don't they?
Yep. I made sure my son knows. So he's 30 now. And he's as conservative as I am. Got there on his own. Because I told him, you make up your own mind. And I always showed him both sides of an issue. You make up your own mind based on the values that I have raised you with. And, you know, he's thank God he came down on the right.
Yeah.
A generation of separation. Right, Jim? Right, Jim? Jim, why are you not here with us? You're not out in the sun laying by the pool. You should be in here.
I sent him the link way back when he asked how long we were going to be out here.
Yeah. Yep. Pops must be ripping a hot one back there.
Pops is like sneezing and
sweating
and.
Oh, is that your drawing table behind you, Glenn? To your left?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Forget the stretching.
There's a story behind that drawing table. It's a fantastic thing. It cost me. I bought that about 1990. I've had that half my life, and it cost me. I think it was 60 quid, and it should have been 200. But it was the display model. It had been in the window for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I said, I went to buy a new drawing board, one of those, and they didn't have it in stock. So I said, can't I have that one? And the girl said, yeah, why not? But you can't have it for 200 quid. And I said, well, how much is it going to be then? She said, 60, all right. I said, go on then, you know.
Run it.
and it's still brilliant. I still use it. It's great.
Nice. I don't have my drawing table anymore. This studio is set up for painting. Everything in here is set up for painting.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah. Like that behind me is actually an easel, but I took the slats down because I'm not painting right now. I'm doing comic book art. So I literally go in the living room and I sit with a drawing board and I draw. Hey, Jim.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you guys. How's it going? Sorry, I had tasks to do this morning. Walk the dog, wake up, shower, all that jazz. Late night.
Yeah. I had a late night also. I don't think I went to bed until 3:30 in the morning, and that is unusual for me because I don't get up at 4. So.
Oh, let's see. I don't want to talk about how much sleep I got last night. It'll be a little short conversation.
Sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
What's happening with the Cromniverse book, Pops? Are you going to revamp it?
I don't know anything until Tank gets back and gets his studio set up and we can figure out what we're going to do.
Right.
I mean, I'd like to. I don't know if everybody's still down. I don't know what's what.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Because that's just how I roll. I commit to something, I see it through.
Well, I've already done my second story, so you've got to put it out.
Yes, yes.
Unless you want both in number one.
I mean, one thing that I said to everybody when we didn't fund the first time is you guys can do, you guys can go ahead and put those stories in your books or make ash cans out of them or whatever you want to do. Whether we
mine is protectively covered and will be used for the purpose for which I designed it or created it. Right, Jim?
I'm just saying, it's like
I agree.
I didn't want everybody to do all that work for no reason. If we don't,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll still use it. I'll still put it out there sometime, but I just wonder what you were doing with it,
I'm hoping, but like I said, until Tank gets his studio set up and everything, he just moved, had to go back to Arizona to get all of his office.
Yeah,
whole office was in a storage unit. They had to leave it in Kingman because they had RV troubles, So I mean, for him, it's just been a huge hassle, and he's on his way back there now to get his office. And when he gets back and gets set up, then we'll figure it out.
I'm not saying that I am finishing Pariah right now, but what I am saying is I'm starting now because I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm starting to think about the next project, and I am so torn on what I want it to be. Like the writer I worked with in the 90s actually wrote a sequel to Pariah because he knows the whole story. And I'm like, oh, that's a good story. But then I also want to do a team book, just a plain old superhero team book in the Silver Age style. I don't know what I'm going to do. Part of me wants to do a comedic book, something lighthearted and fun. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do.
Do them both.
No.
Do them all. Do them all.
All of them, wrap it all up into one.
Just remember that you're dead a long time. So just get on. So just get on with it. Just get on with it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I can only do one book at a time. Like I can't paint while I'm drawing because the skill sets are so different.
Of course, you can do it.
It's all art, but I can't go from these little detail with a pencil to the big brush. And
what you need to do is one like this, a comedy one. Now, what this is, it's a cartoon book. I don't know whether you can see it, and it's situations in the men's room that I guarantee that everybody watching this will have been in at least one of these situations, right?
Yeah, listen.
It's on Amazon. It's on
I walked into my pastor's office.
I want to hear urinal stories, Doc. Come on.
I walked into the pastor's office for a meeting that he forgot about, and he's got a wall heater, and he's standing over by it. And it just looked, I said, what are you doing? Well, he had splashed his khaki pants while washing his hands. He said, I look like I peed myself. I'm trying to draw. So I know that was in your book. If you wear khakis, be careful around the urinal. Yeah, see, there it is.
Now that was me. That's me. What happened was I went out with this girl. And we went to a curry house, and and what happened was that
I want to see that again.
What, this page?
Yeah, that page.
Just hang on.
I guarantee you. No, the other page, the other one, the dude with the nose. I guarantee he's got more nose than dick.
Oh.
What happened there with the trousers was, I'll tell you some other time.
No, tell me. I was on a date with this girl.
I went on a date with this girl. We went for a curry, and I'd had a couple of pints. I wasn't drunk, but I wasn't sober. And I said, I'm just going for the loo. And I had these great new grey trousers on. So I'm just going to the loo. So I went to the toilet and I had a pee and I came back and I'm walking down through the tables And just before her, at our table, were these two girls, and this girl nudged the other one and said, "Look at him there." So, and I thought, oh, I must be looking pretty good, you know.
Oh my God.
And I went down, I went past them and sat down, and I said to this girl I was with, I said, "Those two there fancy me, I think." And she said, "Stand up." So I said, "What?" She said, "Stand up." And I splashed my trousers. So all these, you know, situations are in this book.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
and I
my
guarantee that every guy watching will have been in at least one. I've been in 3, but it will have been at least one.
If you're wearing khakis, especially, you learn to wash your hands like this.
Yeah.
Get away from it. Turn sideways. Do something.
Also in this book is one that happened to me where I was absolutely bursting for a pee in the pub. Bursting, putting off going because the conversation was so good. Bursting. And I said, I've got to go. So I sort of half ran to the loo. And you know, the urinal usually fits 3 guys. Well, there's one guy at one side and one guy on the other, and the only is the middle bit. So I went to the middle bit and couldn't do it. So these two were talking to each other over me and looking, thinking, "What's this pervert doing with his what's it out?" And he's not doing anything because I froze. You know what I mean? You know, you can't go to the loo because somebody else is there. You know.
No, I don't have a problem with that. If I got to pee, I got to pee.
Right, sorry to bring the tone down.
No, that is funny. That is funny. You know, I say just throw it over their shoulder.
Oh dear. Anyway,
Performance anxiety.
Who does this wonderful art? Let's talk about this lovely drawing here.
Oh, this
yours, Jim?
Yeah, this is mine. This is
Brilliant.
The passion project, as they say.
Are you inking that on the computer?
I am. I'm digitally inking. Yes.
Did you draw it and scan it, or did you do it digitally as well?
No, everything is done digitally. Drawing
Right.
on it, everything.
Okay. Right.
But it's drawing. It's just drawing in a different, with a different tool.
Yep.
Just makes editing a little easier, and I don't have to worry about spilling ink everywhere.
Yes.
But I do still love to work. Here, I'll show this here, Pops. I do still like to work.
Oh yeah, that's more like it. That's more like it.
So
Look at that.
Wow, look at that.
That's fantastic.
Salamander.
I thought you'd already finished this one.
No, I just started. I've done another Salamandroid, but
that's great.
That must be the one I'm thinking of.
This one is for Shadowhawk backs.
Yeah, I did a Salamandroid for Shadowhawk, and I kind of liked it.
Yeah, he
That's
definitely
like
likes
Pascal.
So sometimes I work both. Sometimes I work, scan stuff, and it depends on what it is and what I feel like doing, I guess.
Yeah, I was actually waiting until the next time I saw you, Jim, to ask you a question, because I'm going to go get some Sculpey. I want to do some sculpture. Because it's a resin base. What do you use for smoothing? Is there a medium that you use?
Yeah, I use a Gambasol. Or Gamsol, sorry. And I'll show you.
Somebody said bake and bond.
Bake and bond is used to like if you have 2 pieces that you want to put together.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You can like pre-bake a portion, then you start sculpting on top of the pre-baked. Bake and bond will help you connect the 2 pieces. Yeah, I mean, you don't really technically need it, but it makes it stronger.
Gamsol.
Yeah, Gamsol. So that's what I use to smooth, and I use a very light brush.
Yeah, and somebody said you could use in a bind. You could use mineral oil or baby oil.
Yep. Yeah, I go very lightly with that. You're not going to notice it takes a little bit. You're not going to notice the effects. Just put a coat on, wait, then go back in with the same brush and then start smoothing. If you just start throwing it on there, you're gonna lose some mass.
Yeah. I would, because I've sculpted in clay, and of course you just dip your fingers in water, and
Yeah.
I was like, and then it occurred to me, well, when I'm sculpting this thing, and like if I'm doing fabric, how do I? So I said, I need to ask Jim this question. But in the meantime, I had two guys locally say, you can do this, you can do that.
Have you sculpted before, Doc? Have you?
Oh yeah.
Have
Oh
you
yeah.
done sculpture before? Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Lots of sculpting.
I would recommend to people who haven't sculpted and they want to try sculpting is to purchase monster clay, and purchase the hard version of monster clay. It's kind of like a waxy type clay that never truly hardens, but it gets hard enough for you to have a strong statue, but it'll allow you to be flexible, and like a super sculpting. And it'll take details well, and it's good medium to practice on. Then if you don't like the sculpt, or if you do like the sculpt, you can mold it and have it cast. If you don't like the sculpt, you just can break it apart, melt it down, and you start all over again.
So what you're describing is the old argument of oil paint versus acrylic paint.
Yeah.
Oil stays open, acrylic dries.
Yeah.
And I'm an acrylic painter, so what does that tell you?
I mean, if you want
to stay the way I put it.
Yeah. If you want one piece, that is one and done, then Super Sculpey Firm is fine. You bake it off and you've got your statue. It's brittle, and the finer you make a detail, it can break. So then I would recommend using a product called Cos Clay. That's a bakeable clay, but it stays flexible. Stuff's amazing.
I've seen that. Yeah. One guy did the hair on his character in the cloak in that stuff, so it would move.
And it still stays flexible. So it becomes almost like I don't want to say it's a hard rubber, but it can still break, but it has that extra flexibility.
It's more like latex. It'll.
Yeah. It'll give you that flexibility for pieces. Cool. And then you just prime it, paint it, do what you want with it.
Hey Nate, what's up? What's up, Chris Gow? Good to see you, bud. Get in here, Chris Gow. The hell, man.
You might be interested, Doc. That I hope this happens. I don't want to tempt fate, but when I'm launching my next hatch book, my wife Helen, she's a ceramic artist. She's going to make me a 9-inch high hatch in clay. That's going to be one of the pledge perks.
Nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah. So back in the 90s, I did 1 foot sculptures of the Thing, of Daredevil, of people's D&D characters, and I got good at it in clay. And a friend of mine had a kiln, so I could go over there and fire them. And then I didn't glaze; I just painted them and gave them to folks. And so I really enjoyed. All right, Chris Gow.
That's great.
I enjoy sculpting a lot, but then, your thinking goes, I don't have a kiln, I don't have access to a kiln, so that leaves Sculpey, because you can just throw it in the oven. Of course, now my oven went out, so I guess, do I put it in the air fryer?
No, you just sculpt it, you keep it, and you hold it until you're ready to bake it. It just gives you more time. Super Sculpting Firm stays for a while. I mean, it'll naturally air dry over a long period of time.
Right.
You've got plenty of time. To work.
Yeah, I got to get the damn oven fixed. That's it. And y'all, I got to be quiet on this one. My John Deere riding mower, the bracket that holds the belt on when you engage the belt, broke, so it keeps slipping the belt. My wife went and bought a push electric mower. I'm like, you realize for that money, I could have just fixed my John Deere.
Wow.
Jim, can you go back to that horse, please?
Oh, which one, Glenn?
The
very first page?
I'm not. You flick through it quickly. It was just there was a horse.
This page?
No.
Oh,
go the other way.
Keep
going. Keep going. There's a big drawing of a horse.
Oh, there.
That one there. Look at that. How good is that?
Look at that.
That's
if you
fantastic.
can listen, if you can draw a horse, you can draw. I said this to Aaron Lopresti on a stream. Horses have a freaky anatomy. if you can draw one of those bad boys, you can draw anything. And he goes, well, I always found drawing horses easier than drawing people. I'm like, well, then I don't know what to say to you.
I was just gonna say this, like similar thing. Like it's really, you just break it down to the basics, basic shapes. You know,
Listen,
and then
even when I break them down, maybe it's because I'm phobic of horses. You know, the eyes are up here, the mouth's down here. Hey, how you doing? That
it's
doesn't
knowing the
work for me.
proportions, like the distance and the size of the muscle compared to like the head. You
Yeah,
know,
but they're monsters. Is what I'm
yeah,
saying.
they are.
They're monsters.
It's a challenge.
I had a nightmare when I was a kid of
Having to
horses
draw one?
with fangs and claws chasing me. I'm like, ah. So then, as an adult,
that'll do it.
I got talked into going to ride a horse. Right. Well, I get on this thing, and he threw his head down. They said, pull back on the reins. He's trying to buck. So I pulled back, and they said, pull down on the reins. He's trying to rear. So I'm going, ah, back and forth. I finally get off the thing, and I grab the reins, and I pulled the horse down to me. And I said, here's the deal, pal.
Nice.
I will promise you right now, I will never get on you or any of your ilk if you will not chase me down and kill me during the horse apocalypse. And we've kept that truce ever since.
No, that's good. Glenn, can you show Glenn? Can you show that piece again?
Yeah, if I can find
Pops,
it.
can you enlarge Glenn?
Just a second. Here we go.
Nice.
There he
Beautiful.
is.
There you go.
Yes, hi-ho trigger, and you just keep that damn thing in there.
We've got. I like drawing horses. I'm not saying the best, but
Look, if I'm doing something from that era, my guys are walking. Okay, I'm just saying.
Nice. Fantastic.
I like drawing horses. They're great, aren't they?
No, they're not. No.
Yeah.
I've already explained why they're monsters, Glenn. Are you not listening?
We're listening, yeah. They are monsters, but who doesn't like drawing monsters? That's what it's all about.
I just drew a panel of a guy being eviscerated and all his guts hanging out. And I would rather do that all day than draw a horse.
Listen, in this book, I gotta draw a guy on a giant elephant, like one of those, huge boxes that sit on top. I forget what they're called.
Yeah.
On top of the elephant, I'm like an elephant. Okay.
I went on one of those when I was in India.
Yeah.
What do they call the thing that's on the bag? It has a name.
It does have a name. It does have a name, and it's in the story. And it's just eluding me right now. But Glenn, you were talking about traditional versus digital.
Yeah.
Which of these two pages would you say is digital versus traditional, or any of these pages? Here's a challenge. Call it out. Is this first page digital or traditional?
I would say that was traditional.
Correct.
Same.
Nope, digital.
Wow, well, that's good.
Yeah.
No, you've got me now. I don't know.
I can't see it well enough.
Combination of the two.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, you can pencil, scan in, and then ink digitally, correct?
Right. Yeah.
You can. Of course you can.
Yeah, you could. There's several workflows that you can do. You can start traditional, scan in, finish. Some people start digitally because you can edit so fast, and then they print out in blue line, pencil over top of their blue line, rescan back in, and then they have traditional pencils to sell. So people say, well, if you work digital, you have no originals to sell. That's not true. You're just not working to make the original piece.
Right.
I've done pieces where I start out the roughs very lightly, and then I blue line it. It's simple to change to blue line digitally, print it, and then I pencil over top of it and add the details and scan it back in.
I would very much like to try digital because of the editing ability. If you screw up, it's the fifth panel curse. You do a great page and that fifth panel just sucks. So now you got to redraw the whole thing because you put the thumb on upside down or some shit. Whereas with digital, you can just edit it.
Yeah, like this page,
I love it.
I had to redo, and these three panels. If I didn't do this digitally, imagine all the erasing and.
I don't have to imagine. I do it every day.
I mean, I am a proponent of doing both. I'm not a proponent of one over the other. I love the look of a traditional piece. I love the feel of a pencil in hand.
Yeah.
And I advocate that 1,000%. And I think that's where people should start. And then as you advance, your tools change over time, and I think you go into the digital world because there are assets in this program. There's 3D modeling. There's just so much to this thing color wise. And,
Yeah, I definitely want to try it. As I said, I was literally watching someone do digital work, and they did a great drawing, but the proportion on the head was off. So they just shrunk the head down a little bit. I'm like, how many times have you wished you could do that?
Yeah, it's true. If I want to resize this guy's head, just circle it, and I'm being loose here, but and then I can easily just scale it down, shrink
make it bigger. Yep.
So, and then flipping the panel, you can easily flip your page so you can see on the opposite side.
Yeah. Which gives you the same discernment as holding up your work to the mirror to look for inconsistencies. Yeah. I love that, man.
You think about the cost. I mean, the software isn't really that expensive. Clip Studio is great. The cost is your tablet, whatever tablet you're going to use. But people push for the Wacom, and Wacom is a great product. I owned a 13-inch, but I paid like $1,000 for my 13-inch, and I got a Huion, which is a 22-inch, and for the same price. So there are brands out, and it works phenomenal. It works just like the Wacom. So
nice.
I think you just got to you budget like anything else. If you do a couple commissions, and that's where the money goes, and you buy your equipment,
and then you got to be willing to learn.
But but I've saved in inking wise. I hate to ink traditionally. I stink at it, but I still practice it. It's not like I give it up. Obviously, people like.
I'm enjoying inking. I unlocked the brush skill, and I'm like, wow, what a difference this makes. So I'm enjoying that part. I don't enjoy the mess because it is messy.
Why is it messy? I don't make a mess.
Well, I pour my ink into my little container I'm using, and I'm brushing.
Well, just be careful.
And then, I haven't spilled any, but then I pour it back in, and that drop gets on your thumb, and then you have to wipe, and the thing's getting crusty.
Well, what about when you're painting? You must get paint on your hands when you're painting.
Yeah, but it's acrylic. You go and it rolls right off.
Thing. It doesn't take too long to get black ink off your fingers. Just get a scrubbing brush on it. What's the matter with you, man?
I didn't want to scrub.
What do you think Leonardo da Vinci was doing all day? He was washing his hands all day. That's why he didn't do any painting, because he was washing
That's
his
why
hands.
Michelangelo took so long on the Sistine Chapel.
That's right. Yeah, look at my hands.
Look at my hands.
Look at my fingernails. I'm going out tonight. Look at my fingernails. You guys.
Michelangelo, when will you make a finish? I will make a finish, sir, when I have washed my hands.
Yeah, I've got 3 guys doing it for me, and I'm taking the credit.
That was a horrific tangent. Thank you.
You took Doc down memory lane there.
Yeah, I remember working on the Sistine Chapel there, Jim.
Right now.
Oh, you caught that.
What are you saying? What?
CromCon sign up. Sign up for CromCon 26 is live.
Live.
Part of the show. DM me.
Let me show you this. Okay.
No.
This. Oh, beautiful.
Made 0 mess. Not 1 drop spilled.
But it doesn't matter about the mess, does it? It's what it doesn't matter about the mess. It's
as much work. Amazing. Thank you. As much work as goes into this. No mess. No mess.
Is that traditional oil or?
It's acrylic.
It's acrylic. Wow.
Yeah. I quit working in oil the second I found acrylics because I can paint in oil and I can paint just as well in oil as I do in acrylic. But I had a commission and I desperately needed the money. Well, now I got to wait 3 weeks for the painting to dry enough for me to mail it? No. Acrylic, paint it, it's done. Ship it. Paint it, ship it.
Do you know how long it takes oil paint to dry, to properly be dry?
Forever.
60 years.
Yeah.
So that's why Michelangelo's hands were always dirty.
When I ran the gallery here locally, I was a curator for about a year. I literally had someone come in on a show. They had their space. I'm like, look, I need one more from you for this space. They brought me a wet painting, and I had to hang it because the show starts in an hour. So I hung it, and I had to put up the rope around it. Do not touch, because it's literally wet, and it stayed wet for the whole time that show was up. And I'm like, That's why I paint in acrylic.
Wow.
Hey, Fernando, what's up, buddy? Cordero, Charles Santino, good to see you, buddy.
What's up, Charles? What's up, Fern? Hey, what's up? You guys know Fern. Fern is the artist for Man Machine Gun.
Yeah.
Max's team.
Yep.
Charles, of course, Rammer.
Yep.
No Rammer.
Yeah, I was going to tell Fernando, you missed your compatriot by about an hour.
Yeah, Max was out here this morning.
Yeah, Max was hanging out with his goofy ass.
Right, I'm going to drop out now because it's after 7, and I have.
Yeah,
to go
I got to get going as well.
I got to go start dealing with sign up for CromCon if you want to be a part of CromCon 26. Right there, 24th through the 26th. DM me. I'll hook you up a spot, Charles. You know what's up.
Be there.
Come out with Max one of these times, man. We got to hang out.
Great work, Jim, by the way.
Real quick,
Thank
Jim.
you, guys.
Real quick, Jim. What book is this?
This is Crom the Destroyer. It's
Okay.
going to be for Fourth Age Comics. It's RJ Shaw's product.
This is who Crom would be if there was no internet.
I think you should be drawing the Mighty Thor, Jim.
Is there a release date?
Is there a release date? Not as of yet. He's still working on putting a trailer together. He's got it almost done, and it looks really good. I've got these promo pages going. It's being inked by Mike, and I'm going to butcher Mike's last name, Gustovich. He did Justice Man. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Justice Man for DC, I think. And he created a couple other characters, and he's worked for Marvel and DC as an inker, and I think as an artist too. But yeah, he's inking, and I'm not sure who the colorist is, but I have seen a couple of the pages colored, and they look pretty good. So.
Just scroll up so we can see that guy's face.
Nathaniel, hi, man. I didn't mean to ignore you either. What's up, man?
No, sorry, the other way. The panel beneath that one. The panel beneath him. That face there. The panel beneath that one there with the spear. Look at that. Yeah. That's great. I love that.
Look at that.
I love that shading under that nose. That's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Yep.
I think you should leave it. Don't do it black. Just leave it like that. It's great.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
fantastic.
You. Thank you. Yeah, he's getting whacked there.
yeah. Well, he looks like he deserves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Right, I'm going. Nice to see you all.
Nice,
I'll see you all soon.
See you, Glenn.
Glenn, always a pleasure, buddy.
See
ya.
All right. I'm going to head out then if you guys are breaking up.
I'm out of here too. I got to go get some work done.
Yeah.
This book won't draw itself.
I'll
Guys, sign up
do
for
that.
CromCon.
What?
Do it.
Yes, that's what we're going to go do right now. We're gonna man the DMs and sign some people up. We already got Nina signing up, and Chris over there, Laughing Rogues, already hit me up. So and look at this! I just received something as well. Hold on, you guys, just hang out for just a minute.
Yeah.
Just hang out for just a minute while I
all right. Here we go.
Working
add something to the queue real quick. It looks good. Let's see. Where's that now?
That's a good word, Jim.
Just
bravo, sir. Bravo.
Thank you.
You guys will like this. We'll just go ahead and end the show with this. You'll like it. I promise. Here we go. Get ready. Sign up for
Come get some.
This has been the Tuesday Morning Brew, brought to you in part by CommittedComics.com. Go check them out. Nira X. You'll like it. Promise. We're also a proud sponsor of
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit